Perhaps the moon knows the secret of the new sound.
He's so bright and pull on the surfaces. He's so bright and they walking on my face. He's so bright and
Open your mind. Let us begin our quest to find the new sound.
I've got new nicey zoo. I've got rice.
Look at the shine and
Everything I need. I've got new nicey zoo.
okay, let's have fun.
Nicey zoo. I've got new nicey zoo. I've got new
Look at the shine and
nicey zoo. I've got new nicey zoo. I've got new.
look at the shine.
he's so bright and bright, pull on the surfaces. He's so bright and they walking on my face. He's so bright and bright, pull on the surface, pull on this. He's so bright and they walking on my face. Better bet him.
Nicey zoo. I've got new nicey zoo. I've got new
Look at the shine and
nicey zoo. I've got new nicey zoo. I've got new
Sound.
you must choose. Bimbo, bimbo. My name is Mr. Susan. You must choose, and now it is time for you to do the choosing. I am Mr. Bean.
I've got new
You must choose.
I've got rice.
Look at the shine. I am Mr. Bean.
I've got new
You must choose.
I've got rice.
Look at the shine.
Trapped in cabinets.
Can I get out? Will he get out? 'Cause he will.
You like a single time, Vince, single time.
Better bet him.
You like a single time.
They walking on my face.
Everything I need here.
You like a single time, Vince, single time.
Better bet him.
You like a single time.
They walking on my face.
I did a rhyme.
Better bet him.
Nicey zoo. I've got new nicey zoo.
You better
I've got rice.
Look at the shine.
Nicey zoo. I've got new nicey zoo. I've got new nicey zoo. I've got new nicey zoo.
you better
I've got rice.
Look at the shine.
Nicey zoo. I've got new nicey zoo. I've got new
Look at the shine.
Hey, I did a song. Jupiter, I did a song. You ain't got one. Yeah. Oh, I feel sick.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Daramouthe, and welcome to another. I saw your background. Did you just like freeze frame that during the video, or whatever?
No, there's I keep a ton of photos around,
Yeah.
so keep a lot of background video and photos. So I was like, oh, I saw old Greg. I gotta put up the old Greg one.
Yeah, that's the of course that's the Mighty Boosh, but that's something Pogo did that he just there's two. I think there's that one and another one, but yeah. Well, but welcome for coming on there, WhiteBear. It's just a weird name to have. I mean, your PFP is of a polar bear wearing sunglasses, so that's an interesting one.
Yeah. It came from a video game a long time ago, an online RPG, and they had Bear Clan and Deer Clan.
Yeah.
So yeah, nerd theology there, but it's Ultima Online, and anyways, and yeah, so I was like, oh, Bear Clan. I was like, I'll name my character WhiteBear, and it just kind of stuck. So back in the days of IRC and all that, it's the name that just stuck. So
Nice. Yeah, I back in the day I used to play the RuneScape stuff, so you know how that
okay.
works. And my username during that time period was Shano20, which is SHONO, and it's from a mix of things. But it you know that I remember RuneScape, and that was like there were some quests you had to have another person help you with, and it's just like, oh.
Yeah, a lot of times nowadays I prefer just the single player and all that, but games like the Ultimate game, it lasted after the main game was kind of done with and just turned into where a bunch of Brazilians got in there and played because they keep things going. People do what's called player shards, and it's basically somebody will host the game from a server and all that, and they just make up their own maps and lore and all that crap, and you get into it, and it's either role play or not. But it was interesting for years, and it wasted a lot of my life.
You're like, I can't stop it. I can't quit you. I can't quit you.
I couldn't, but finally did.
Yeah, no, I've heard that stuff, like people used to play like the old WoW or what was it, like was it EverQuest or something like that? I don't remember. There's that too. There's a lot of games. I think the longevity games like WoW or whatever. Because I remember back in the day with I only played a little with like the WoW, like the old version of WoW.
Yeah. Same.
And but that was a long time ago, and of course Steam is bad for me because I have around 200 games. I'm just like, I don't know what to do with all of that.
Yeah, dude. I've collected like way more than I thought I would. It's like I think I'm up to like 20, but a lot of them are just from early 2000s, 2010 era and stuff like that. And I just recently got into a brand new game for me, Stardew Valley. So yeah, dude, I've been streaming that like every other day. I love it. I can't stop.
Is it because I know, do you do multiplayer or you just play by yourself?
You can start up like a multiplayer, like areas up to 8 people on one map and all that, and you all just work it, and they it's I haven't got to get into it yet, but yeah, you can get people to work for you. So work in my valley.
Get down in that valley, boy.
Yeah,
work for me.
I'm gonna employ Vex, one of the other people that you interviewed recently, get her to do my customer service.
Awful, she'd be good.
Yeah, she'll say, "Thank you, come again."
No, it was more like she just cursed them out.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to have her on again sometime within the following months because she's lovely. I mean, she's fiery, but she's lovely.
Yeah, dude. She's when we started, when me, Cannoli Sasquatch, and Copa Catania, we started doing Triple M, that show on YouTube, and one day Cannoli wanted to bring in a chick, and we were like, "Oh, a chick! Oh my god!" Like, what are you simping for over here? And it turned out she was like the most based, awesome chick ever. So we're like, good choice, and we've all been best friends ever since. So
yeah, and the funny thing is because trying to because that's where I met you from. It's from Vex. When Vex was on. That's how I was able to get you on. I forced you or anything, but get over here, like, please,
Valley,
please, sir, please. No, it's sort of that thing where it's like one connection to another person leads to another person, and that's why I do this, is because there's so many people who bringing in Vex for Cannoli bringing in Vex, and then have now all of her perspective come in, and your guys' adjust. Same thing with Darachat. It's sort of the mixture of perspectives that I really enjoy, and honestly, it's just. In life, as you're an adult, you're not really told like where to go. What's the thing I'm supposed to do for the rest of my life? That's
right.
You go to college and all that stuff. But it's just like, it's not college nowadays is pointless because it puts you in debt and it really doesn't teach you anything, which is the basis of it now anyway.
Yeah, it gives you a piece of paper saying that, hey, you should probably maybe this person may know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And they're, will they're not really even staking anything behind your name, because it's not like if you do a bad job, they're going to call up, a Tennessee Tech or something and be like, what the hell are you doing? Sending these idiots out into the work field. They don't care. It's just it's like a money scheme. There's only a very few things that I think you should go to college for. And it's probably being a doctor.
Yeah.
so stuff like that. But it's
Maybe
losing
a,
its meaning.
maybe a nuclear physicist,
Right.
all that stuff. But
Right.
yeah, it's just like you could go onto YouTube and you could find courses from like Stanford and stuff. Or not
Mhm.
courses, but um, I don't know what they call them, but there's videos of them talking about certain subjects. Whatever. I'm just like, wow. Right now,
Yeah.
human beings are connected to the biggest library of academia in the world, and all they want to do is go to college and waste hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Google is doing something like I guess they got inspired by like Udemy and courses like that.
Yeah.
And they started up a thing called Coursera,
Yes.
and it gets you, I guess certifications through there, and some of them are legitimate, and some of them are just like, hey, you know more about what you do. I was like, no, I might look into that one day, but it's a lot better than having to go, unless it's like I said, unless it's a requirement. Please, don't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a funny thing is where again it's sort of part of that traditional thing where your parents went to college and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, it's sort of it's a dying it's a other than for the things that are necessary for it, it's sort of a dying thing. You would probably see less colleges for the things you need a college certification for rather than for all the stuff that is there now because a lot of it's just pointless. Who needs a degree in liberal arts? What is that?
Yeah, I mean, if you I don't know, if you go to the right place, maybe that could help you on YouTube, on Twitch and on Instagram and stuff like that, become popular over there, so that way you can advertise other people's products. But other than that, like it gives you something to talk about, I think.
Yeah.
A lot of people make up YouTube channels off of like one skill that they know how to do, and then they just exploit the crap out of it until until they make it. And sometimes you can do that, but it's a lot of times it's people teaching you how to do a job that they don't do anymore because they have a much more fun time just teaching it.
Yeah.
So
It's like the student, this whole saying of the student becomes the master and the master becomes the student sort of thing. And I really do think that because that reminds me of a gentleman who was making videos of being a dad, right? Showing how to do, what was it, unclogging the toilet or the bathtub or.
what was that called? Dad, how do I do this or something?
I think so. I can't remember. But the thing of it is that you do have there is a way that this tool, right? Because it is a tool, social media on these video platforms, it is a tool. There's a way for these tools to be great and used for good. But as you know, YouTube also has naked yoga, so there is that.
Yeah. Wait, has YouTube got into the naked yoga? I didn't know if that had come over from Twitch or what, or is that on here now?
I've had it for a long time. Just look it up. You can just type in naked yoga and there you find it. It's true. I've done it. It's there. It's under artistic.
It's art. Yeah.
It's artistic. But yeah, it's sort of just like, but you have this stuff that happened with Twitch. Remember that like 1 day rule where everyone just went crazy showing like was it the VTuber or whatever nudity thing?
Oh, really?
It was just like madhouse. And then the day after they're like, oh no, we gotta change this. I'm like, well, yeah, because you let the hounds loose. So why would you do that? But I think that I do think that there's a time and place for stuff like that, but I do think a platform that doesn't allow, say, at least for a majority use, right? Not like a niche use, which is all its own, but a majority use, like say on YouTube. The best thing would be is just not to allow porn at all, because you enter in a area which you will have to do more moderating.
Yeah, filtering all that crap, because it gets into a weird area, because what people call art, there's paintings of, like there's classic, very old paintings of like, a parent and their children, and the child isn't clothed yet, of course, and because it's a child, you're not supposed to think anything of it. But there are people who will do sick stuff with that, so it's
not only that, but like sellers of that stuff will try to push it.
Yeah, it'll get exploited as crap.
Yeah, they exploit the loopholes, but YouTube's gonna YouTube because of course it's Google. So it's not like, what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah, they're just gonna basically weed it down, and they're gonna weed out the wrong things first, and then they'll eventually crack down to where it's basically it goes to companies being allowed to produce content. I feel like they'll they'll only allow people who are part of a group like a MCM kind of or whatever that was called back in the day with gaming.
MCM, I can't remember the name of it, but I know it's called MCM.
So they'll only allow those people to be on there to get paid, and they've been slowly over time trying to get rid of the U in YouTube, because if you started really early, like when I was a kid, I was graduating school when YouTube became a thing, and before Google officially bought it, I was posting up YouTube videos, and back then you could get away with copywritten music. You could do a whole lot of whatever you wanted on there, dude. So, it was a different era.
Yeah.
And I've tried to look back, look up my old videos. They're absolutely gone, probably for the best. But it was a new thing, very cool creativity outlet for a lot of us. So I really liked it, and just over time it got stricter and stricter, and the random rules got more stupid and more stupid. So old channels go away. Yeah.
Well, and not only that, but it's rules that are not applied on the basis of what they are. So it's literally like it's Google basically becoming its own power platform, and it's basically telling you, look, these are the rules, but we're going to do something else with that. And you're just sort of like, what's the point of having rules then if you're not going to apply them on a level scale basis? But then again, it's Google, so who are you going to tell them no?
Right. We don't really have a leg to stand on it. So all we can do is just and then you have the big creators who will suddenly come out every now and then and be like, oh, this is overreaching and all that. Like, you're the type of people who set up the environment for it and agreed to it. So
it's not only that, but there's a lot of creators who only put themselves on one platform. They don't give themselves the leverage, and leverage means multi-platforming yourself. There's no way around it anymore. Content creators are gonna have to think about doing that, because otherwise a platform has power over their content if they're just on that platform. You think about all these, like you said, all the YouTubers who come out and complain about being demonetized and whatnot. Where are you on the other platforms? Why aren't you trying to use something else? Why aren't you expanding yourself? Oh, it's too much work. It's too much this. You do realize technology has caught up to where you can use more than one platform, and it's a little easier now to do that. And
and I've tried to use Rumble, and I've tried to port over all my stuff, and it said, oh, this will take a couple of days, up to 2 weeks. I was like, okay, sure. I got nothing but time, and I got a ton of videos to transfer over, and it got like stuck. And now I have like 3 or 4 accounts that are like trying to transfer videos over there, and it still hasn't done it, like a year and a half later. And I don't even know how to, it's kind of set up like they really need to work on how they connect channels, or I don't know. It obviously hasn't worked for me. And then when Rumble first became a thing, and I guess that was when, if you watched him, Steven Crowder, he started doing Rumble and all that, and before he became Rumble exclusive, and a lot of people tried to get an account over there, and they like, oh, you also need you need a creator account or something like that if you want to be. And so then I had all this material on there as one account, and then I have to re-download it, re-upload it into another account. I'm just like, dude, I am old. I'm hitting 30. I'm hitting 37. I'm fading here. So one day it will be easier. I hope that they go farther. I've just been starting heavily using Twitter or X. It's been really fun, and I haven't got banned. I haven't got a flag. I haven't got a warning on anything. So.
Yeah, unfortunately, there are many who do, and for no apparent reason, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, oh, hey, Sasquatch, how are you?
It's a cannoli.
Oh, Whitey, bless it. Wow, he's already coming after you hard.
Bless your heart.
Bless your little heart, you little.
Yeah, dude, I think I'm slowly over time trying to redneckinize these people. Telling them bless your heart and throwing all the redneck catchphrases at them.
Yeah.
Eventually, I'm gonna have a Canadian like totally, she's yeah, I'm sure she told you that she'll be moving down to Florida and all that.
Yeah.
And she'll already have like a ton of catchphrases down, dude. She'll be halfway southern by the time she gets down there.
Yeah. Well, the thing of it is, it's understandable because obviously Canada has thrown away its own country and they're not really doing anything about it.
At one time, didn't you kind of think of like Canada? I don't know. Around how old are you? Are you like
a little around your age?
Okay. So
36.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I guess when we were younger, I thought that Canada was a place that comedians came from. And also like, well, if you live, that much up north,
right?
Yeah, you have to live like a little bit more rugged of a life, and you got to kind of hate yourself. You have to live in that cold of a place, and there's some places that are just hundreds of miles away from each other and all that. It's not as populated, blah blah blah. But no, what I found is that that's like part of the nation, and then all the representatives are the complete opposite. And their big cities are exactly what you think that they would be. But as far as people who live out, in the boonies here and there, it seems like they are somewhat normal people, but they've allowed themselves to be controlled and turned into such a big pussy nation that I am so depressed for, because it is such a beautiful place too. Any footage that you see from up there, if you ever travel anywhere near there, the land just starts changing into the more untouched areas that you can enjoy. And crap, there's some great people from up there, but God, they are locked down in a terrible place. So sorry, Canada.
Well, and the funny thing was, I think it's like the majority of people living in Canada is like 10% of it. I'm just like, what? They have so much room and they can't live in the rest of it, and it's just like, what?
Yeah. Well, I guess it's also one of those places where they're going to want everybody to kind of stay really close together to, and because the closer you are to the government, and the government services, you can be dependent on them, and then they can also make sure that you are dependent on them. So everybody floods into the, a few small places, and that's what represents Canada.
Yeah, and it's a funny thing with it is because I talked to someone from Alaska, and that's in itself is very isolated itself, even though it's
really.
And they don't even have 50% of what we have down in the 48. Now, granted, it's more colder than it is warmer, but at the end of the day, it's like they're at a sort of limited capacity in the sense of like the infrastructure and whatnot, that it's sort of like, why aren't we at least giving them 50% of what we have? I mean, we complain about stuff, but why do he needs to make a room for me in his basement? I swear, I just want to sell my house and move to where he lives.
So freaking Cannoli is
Canadian.
No. He's Arizonian. No, he's an Arizonan, and it's like 120 degrees there, and they're experiencing kind of like what we got hit with in Tennessee, where it's like, but on a bigger scale. So they're next to a bunch of people flooding into the country. They're next to a state where people are coming over because they think, well, it's too expensive here, even though we voted for all these policies that made our state suck. So then they move to Arizona, and then they start getting into positions of power. And it's 120 freaking degrees. It's dry as hell. And but in other ways, at one time, it was kind of one of those freedom states, and part of it still is. But the prices over there are ridiculous. The minimum wage is probably like a little higher. Just in general, things cost more. So you get your utilities and your rotational bills over there that are like outlandishly high. And right now here in Tennessee, our prices skyrocketed. I guess about 6 years ago on land. Like they started just jumping because everybody started moving from all over the country to Tennessee because it was a
Was it no income tax?
yeah, it's just very everything's less tax. That's basically what it is, and there's less weird laws here, I guess.
Nice.
And it's in one of those middle states where half the year it's freaking cold and half the year it's freaking hot, and then you get like 2 weeks where it's like, oh, this is beautiful,
Yeah.
but and it's not all the way down in Florida, it's not all the way anywhere up north and all that. So it's a one of those convenient states, and people get to enjoy the state, the laws that we haven't let go too wild. And at one time it was a totally blue state, and slowly over time it finally became a red. So that kind of helped out on a few things, but it's still very mixed. Like Nashville, like the governor of Tennessee is a Republican. We have senators here and stuff like that that are kind of mixed, but the mayor of Nashville is a Democrat, like hardcore. Like you can look at the dude and you tell, oh, you're one chromosome away from being a blue-haired person. Like like they got the look. Him and his family, they got the look. So you expect some stupid policies, and so it's always been a fine mix of people, but there's just a lot of down-to-earth people here, and also a lot of musicians, of course, are like flooding. They've been just popping up in Middle Tennessee, like where I'm closer to Nashville. Make room, buddy. Yeah, dude. Definitely. We got lucky. We got really lucky. We got a house that was way bigger than we needed, but for a super low price. And then like a year later is when the economy, just went crazy in real estate. So we got this house super duper cheap, and the farmland and all that. And then I would hate to be in the market right now. I couldn't afford shit, dude. I couldn't afford anything around me. They want houses that. Seriously, my parents bought a house for $96,000 whenever they first moved up here, and they were talking the dude down even then. Like he was going to take less at one point. Anyways, and that's for a full 5-person family.
Wow.
3 kids and 2 adults and all that. And then, if you invested in real estate back then, you are just swimming in it, dude. But as far as like families, like me and my wife, where would we move to be able to actually enjoy how much profit that we made off of this place?
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's a difficult, especially for me. Like I don't make enough to afford a home, and even then you got to do that 30-year loan stuff or whatever.
like, how do y'all rent, dude? Like, it's freaking ridiculous nowadays. Especially if you have a good family and you are close to your family, this is one of the few times where I'd say in history, a lot of people would need to be like forced to get out of the house, away from mom and dad, and like go make it on your own. Nowadays, the families agree enough to be cool with each other, stay at home as long as you can until you've and work out deals on the bills there. But how are a lot of people supposed to make it with their rent? Like I pay. I'll just go ahead and say I don't really care. Like I pay $800 a month for a house payment, whereas rent anywhere around here or like closer to the cities, you're looking at $1,100 to $1,300 rent, dude. Like that's so effed up. How are people supposed to even make it and try to be independent in that kind of atmosphere, I guess.
Yeah, it's what is it? It's I just had a thought and I was flying away. No, I live near a college town, so those prices usually go way up.
Yeah.
But the thing of it is, though, is that you're gonna have people who may just end up living with family because one, it's probably cheaper, paying and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, it's not. at this point, you're either going to have to go out, cut down the trees, and make the home yourself, like the old days,
Yeah.
or you're just going to have to rough it out and stay with family. I mean, there's just really not much choice today. Not that I know very much about it, but you see the news, you hear the people talking about, oh, I can't afford this. Like for me, it's like when you buy a home, right? When you pay it all off and all that stuff, then you shouldn't be charged for anything more beyond that scope because you own the home. If,
Yeah.
if you have to pay taxes on it, you don't really own the home. You're just renting it. It's just another form of rent,
Yeah.
basically. So, and that's, I just kind of find it funny. Is like, do you really, you hear the people do the whole you own nothing and be happy sort of thing. I'm just saying you already own nothing to begin with because you're paying rent on it. You're paying rent on your cars. You're paying rent on your houses. You're paying rent on whatever else. It's like, do you really truly own anything? Or are you just saying, oh, until I go? I mean, technically, yes, we are kind of borrowing things until we go, but
Mhm.
in a legal governmental sense, you're just paying taxes. It's just another form of rent.
You have a cool storage container for all your stuff that you own and all that, but you can, inside of your car, you can traffic, some of those things that you own. But if your house got, took away tomorrow, if my house was taken away tomorrow, I wouldn't be able to carry all this shit with me, and and that was 5 years in a row. We were like, my parents were, going through that because they are, to the point where they're on fixed income, retirement, and stuff like that, and you get behind on land taxes and stuff like that. It sucks, and it starts stacking up. And if you have any bills that go beyond whatever your retirement pay or Medicare and stuff like that, good luck. And the medical care that's offered to you after a while, after a certain age, you're not getting the same thing that a 23-year-old would be. So it is that that's the downfall. That's the bad parts of America. Is that we've allowed ourselves to get to the point where, of course, you probably heard it before, but a lot of founding fathers were spinning in their graves, hearing about all the bullshit that we're putting up with, as far as and we're just fine with it. We're comfortable with it because we know, in the end, if you don't pay a certain thing, somebody will come try to make you pay for it. And if you refuse to pay for it and you refuse to leave, you will lose your life. That's what it comes down to, is if you refuse at every turn, you refuse to be charged and to be kicked out of something that you own, you will be deleted. So that's the truth. The soft truth of America is that we still do have problems, but
if you don't have car insurance, you can't drive your car. It gets taken away. If you don't have this, whatever, it's a lot of. And don't get me wrong, there's all the safety things, right? Like seatbelts. You don't want people flying out of the cars, whatever. But at the end of the day, if paying off your house does not mean your house is fully paid off and you get to pay nothing else after that, then you don't really own it. So why even say you own a house? I don't own a house. I just rent a house because the government could take it anyway if they wanted to.
Well, and some places that you rent from, you have some benefits to that. Like some places you don't get to pay the utilities, or some places if your dishwasher messes up or the sink is leaking, you don't got to fix it. Somebody else will. When you own a home, those are all on you. And trust me, if you want to get a light switch changed in your house nowadays, dude, if you don't know anything about how to do any type of electrician work or anything like that, they can charge you $90 just to change out a light switch. It's a less than actually, I think over at Lowe's you can get them for like $2 for a very simple basic switch and all that. So just a single flip and or a single throw. But dude, if you don't have certain skills, you can cost so much. My wife, she was baking up a storm the other day, and fortunately I was home because suddenly she starts going, whoa, I start hearing sound, and the dog started barking because she's getting excited, and I run in there. I'm like, what's going on? She goes, well, I shut it off, but the oven was just started, it started smoking a little bit, and then it started just sending out sparks.
Yeah.
When she opened it up, it just kept on popping out sparks on her, and and she didn't know what to do. And I was like, okay, well, I looked at it, and was like, okay, well, the element needs to be changed because it's like clearly cracked in half right there. And, so electricity built up right there. It got so hot that it, it started, sending out sparks from the flux, all around it. And I was like, okay, well, we'll turn off the power to it. And then fortunately, I bought another one. Like when we first moved in, I had a spare. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just put that one in. And terminating that, putting that in, that would have cost her so much freaking money. Like, and these are bills that a lot of us can barely make as it is. What would she do if she was just a single person staying in the house or living alone, and her oven, I'm out of an oven. No, it's just it's a $30 part at the most,
Mhm.
but you can, and enough skills to not shock and electrocute yourself.
Yeah.
But it's not having skills that you don't learn at college. You can go to electrician school, but you don't have to go to an electrician school to learn. And circling back to what we were talking about earlier about college, you don't have to have official training to know how to switch out an element.
Mhm.
But until you do it the first time, that's kind of weird. That's a new territory. That's kind of scary. That's like getting on the interstate and driving in a complicated city for the first time. That's that's crazy. How do you even do that? How do you negotiate that? And I don't know. There's a big outcry for that kind of skill for just simple home repair and how to. And that's why I like talking about YouTube and Rumble and stuff like that. There's literally videos out there, bro, showing people how to cut a tomato. I'm like, and it had like 4 million views. What the hell? 4 million views, man. I want that. I'm gonna be cutting up some damn tomatoes on YouTube tomorrow.
You should do like one. You should do your own, like make your own pizza and just kind of do it. Take it piece by piece and just like this is how you do it, and just kind of like all that stuff and see what happens.
And that's the funny thing is that's exactly what I do for a living. Is I'm the head chef for a restaurant, and
really,
and the main item is pizza and and sandwiches and stuff like that and salads. So it's been in the family for
okay.
Like I was literally 1987. Like they moved me into one of the back rooms back there because they so that way you didn't have to have a babysitter. So we all grew up there. I owned it for 2.5 years. I sold it to my brother and his wife. They eventually, like 10 years later, they sold it. And now that new employer actually, they found out that I worked there, and all the waitresses were like, hey, you need to hire that person. And, he called me and said, I'll pay you more than what they paid you back when you were working here. I was like, so I can't get away from it. But at the same time, it's a good freaking deal,
Why not? And again, I don't know how important it is to you, like on the family aspect, but it was part of your family at one point. So I think
it complicates things.
Yeah, it does. Well, of course, there can be that favoritism, but I also think like there's those memories there, the sentimental stuff, and I think for some people who have family businesses, I think there is a point where they have to let it go, but it's hard to because it's like it's been there forever. And they don't really have anyone to pass it on to, and it's but then again, they're right there. You don't own a business, you rent it.
Mm-hmm.
You rent a business. You do not own a business, you rent a business. Anyone who has a business is just renting it till the time's up. That's basically what it is. And that's a sad factor with all this stuff. Look, I know you need things of defense and all this other stuff, but at the end of the day, it's like you do realize that saying all the stuff you want and then doing nothing to change it is basically the opposite of what you're actually saying.
Right.
And so you need to stop saying and doing. And I think after a certain point, either it's gonna happen, or you're just gonna see a collapse. And I don't know what else to say. It's
you get stuck in this continuous bitching cycle. Like we have customers, who will say like, well, it's getting pricey again, or like, like, dude, I get a stock bill every single week and I look at it and the price of mozzarella has never went down. It doesn't suddenly just go down. It keeps on going up until we finally have to raise our prices. And this is how the economy, is, rolling. So whenever you say that, and whenever you go shop at, a place that gets a hold of the cheapest product in the freaking world, the most vegetable oil infused piece of crap discounted crust and cheese, and if you want to call it a pepperoni, yeah, sure, you can go get that and it'll be $5. Like you can get it for $5 somewhere. Or if you want something that's quality, and you understand that prices are different for quality product and all that, and things that don't get special government treatment.
Yeah.
Okay, well then go with us.
Yeah. But again, that's also comes the factors that what is it? Expensive does not always equal quality. So
Right.
if it's expensive, you can have an expensive item and it'd be total crap. The point of the matter, though, is that no matter what area you're in, it's always been up. You can go back to like the 50s where things were in the cents. Now things are in the dollars to tens of dollars.
Mhm.
It's not go down. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I do once in a blue moon. I go to our personal farmers market and buy stuff from there because you want to have that close to organic as possible because it's
Mhm.
the food and stuff that they sell us in a grocery store. And like,
But you also have to be fed. Like eventually.
yeah. Yeah. You have to eat sometime, otherwise it's not gonna be good.
Well, like I guess that's why the easiest way to spend your and the most productive way to spend, like if you get food stamps or SNAP or whatever they call it in your state and all that, is to buy frozen burritos. It's the frozen burrito is 1,200 calories. It has some form of protein, probably not complete.
Yeah.
You got a shit ton of vegetable oil. You have soy. They're just using everything, and of course corn. Corn is in most of it, and the vegetable is probably the worst for you. It's just an energy ball. Great for chickens, but that's about it. So
Yeah.
anyway, you got that, and it's cold. It's a cold item, so you can get it on on SNAP, on food stamps. You can fill up on all the most unhealthy things a lot better than you can the fresher tomatoes or the produce section. You go to the produce section and go buy some unprocessed, super unprocessed meat or anything like that, like just some steaks or pork chops, whatever.
Yeah.
You're walking out of Walmart, with $200 in a few bags. But if you buy some boxes of frozen burritos and macaroni, bro, you got a buggy full.
Well, not only that, but like the ready to go cups. How you just pour hot water in them.
Yeah. Get your ramen on, and it's like
ramen's like the cheapest still, and it's just like but it's so unhealthy for you. The sodium count is ridiculous in those things.
It's not even complete. It's not salt. It's sodium, which means it's not complete salt with like all the minerals or anything.
Yeah.
It does have iodine in it, so that's kind of helpful. But sodium, like table salt, that we get, and we get them in giant 10-pound bags and stuff like that. It's not full salt, and that's why a lot of people at one time America kind of like demonized salt, to the point where they're having to undemonize it and say, remember to get enough salt in your diet because people are getting a ton of sodium.
Yeah.
But they're not getting the straight up salt that actually has anything that makes complete electrolytes. But yeah, when you're getting it from the frozen burrito, or the everything's so preserved that it has a shit ton of sodium, and then you still want a little bit of flavor on top of that. Yeah, you're probably getting the puffy foot. Oh, Daramouthe got the puffy foot.
The puffy foot. But yeah, because I use an app. It's called Yuka. It's a YUKA, made by a French person, but a French brother, sister sort of thing, and then an extra friend. And the amount of stuff in a grocery store that's there to kill you is astonishing. 90% of 95 to 90% of what's in a grocery store is just there to kill you. Simple as that.
That's the reason why the UK doesn't allow half of our items over there. Like you can't. Good luck trying to import. Most of the items, just because they're not considered full things. Like the flour that we have to that we get a hold of it's been beaten down until it's just a powder, and it has nothing, and they have to take a chemical extracted form of all the vitamins to add it back just to actually make it considered what's called food.
Yeah.
So the FDA won't, they can't even, even they can't, as corrupt as they are, they can't get around not selling you powder, because there's literally nothing in it at one point.
Yeah.
And it gets bleached. You have bromated and unbromated flour and stuff like that. It's not even real. That's why that is why we get critiqued on our food so much. Like, I'm all about making some good American food and stuff like that anyway, but there's healthier ways to do it. America can Americanize anything. Just look at what we did to Chinese food,
It's not Chinese food anymore. It's all this. No.
Do the Mexicans eat Taco Bell?
Yeah, and the funny thing is that I try to do more organic stuff. Like I like bread, right? There's enriched wheat or enriched bread flour, right? That's one of the things where it's just all that stuff is added back in.
Mm-hmm.
Not supposed to have that. Basically, because I have part of myself is high cholesterol, right? So trying to do the more healthy. I'm like whole wheat bread, which is what you want. The first ingredient in bread should be whole wheat, right? That's what they want you to get, as my dietitian told me. And sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard, because again, majority of the bread is going to have either enriched wheat or enriched flour or whatever that is. And you're just gonna be like, oh, I can't have that because it's not healthy. And it goes down to meat stuff, right? All this other stuff. It's just, if you're not paying attention to what you're getting to eat, you are slowly killing yourself.
Yeah,
you're slowly killing yourself. And it's like people who go to McDonald's for a majority of the time, like, do not go to McDonald's for the majority of the time, because one, they'll charge you more for less, and two, it's because why would you want to keep throwing yourself over a bridge again? Just stop. I know it's hard, but
the meat soy patties, they're not that great. They're not worth it. And now it's getting to the point where you might have heard, like, where they're considering going out to like fast food like McDonald's a luxury.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy to me, because at one time, my father was able to feed, all of us boys, 3 boys, and plus like 2 neighbors. He'd take us out to McDonald's every Friday, and that was like, oh, here's your treat, take you to McDonald's, and we'll go, let's go hang out and whatever. Yeah. And then freaking like $24, he lays that down, and that like feeds everybody, And now a couple, if you want, want what you want, you're looking at 24 plus, especially if you want to get one of those fancy coffees, from there. and every bit of it, it's just like going down to like, think of the donut. The donut is made from everything terrible. It's got, the enriched flour, which is also mixed in with oil, so that way it gives it a sheen and a smoothness about it. So, and it's lowest grade oil, because they got to make their money and all that, and mix all that in together with sugar. I guess it's probably going to be beet sugar, because beet sugar, I think, is where we're getting a majority of our sugar nowadays. And mix all that in together with some table salt, all that for your preservative, and then you deep fry it in oil it's hydrogenated oil. It's been fried. It's been cooked time and time again to the point where it's not even chemically recognizable. And then you cover in a glaze, and you say eat up, and wonder why I'm passing out after I eat a donut. Like, you're fucking dying, bro.
Bro, like, let it go, bro.
Yeah.
What though? You give me a Krispy Kreme glazed donut, I'm done. All right.
Yeah.
That's crack right there. That's crack. Probably shouldn't say that anyway, but it is. Krispy Kreme donuts are like crack. The glazed ones. They're like, they give a free one out, every morning. It's like, that's free crack right there.
Yeah, and you know what sugar does to your brain when you keep on getting it. Like, I'm not one to speak and like preach at everybody. Heck, I'm smoking cigarettes, but at the same time, I also know that like a lot of the meat that I get a hold of is either from, like, I raise chickens. So we get eggs. All the boys, we let them grow up, to a certain point, and then we slaughter them. And then we have 2 different people who offer different grades of meat to us and all that, from cow and goat. So we have that. And there's a lot of choices out there. If you're doing bad in one area, you can do good in one area. Like I get a lot of physical workout in, and I do a lot of farming outside, and I eat a lot of more natural food. But I also smoke cigarettes, so I can't really, like I said, I can only bitch so much at people.
Well, he isn't wrong.
Yeah, like I put out, I send cannoli all my cock videos.
You say cock-a-doodle-doo every time you send him.
Yeah, he's like, nice guy. I'm like, thanks, buddy. He always uplifts my spirits.
Most NaCl in food products is not iodized, too expensive. Yeah, and that's a funny thing, right? It's like there's Utah, right? They have a place called Salt Lake City. It's basically a wasteland of salt. It's not purified or anything, because I know you have to have clean it up or whatever, but it's a land of salt. You have a place called Salt Lake City.
Like, one of the best things you can do is getting a hold of maybe some pink salt, and getting a hold of total like sea salt and pink salt and stuff like that. Get a hold of that and get a grinder, and just get over the laziness of having to grind. Like, oh, I gotta grind this. I wish that there was a ton of filler in here to keep it separated.
Oh man, Cannoli really wants to stay at your house.
See, he want that shit for free though. Like, he'd probably give me rent, but then he'd want all that for free, and I gotta make a profit, bro.
He's got that only cock right there. He's got to.
Yeah. Oh wait, that's a good idea. Hey, dude, seriously, what if I started up OnlyFans, but like, I just put my chickens on there, like, oh yeah, there's got to be some weirdos out there, and they're like, oh man, I love his cock,
Phoenix says, yet we cannot get raw French cheeses. That's true, FDA stuff. But there's a thing right there too. You could set up a 24/7 cam on your chicken coop, and people will watch that crap.
I had 237 people on Twitter stop by and watch my chickens one day, because I just took this webcam right here, threw it out the back window, took their I have one of those little rolling chicken pens and all that for a group of them, and I put it down in there, and people were just sitting there watching my cock for like 2 hours straight. I put on background music, like, so that way, like, they could like really engross themselves in watching my cocks, just flopping everywhere. But dude, that's a real thing. I'm serious. But like what Phoenix was saying, like, okay, you cannot sell any type, like, if they find out that you're selling unpasteurized milk, you are in freaking trouble, bro. Like, even they have some like very health food, stores that are ran, by some local farmers, excuse me, in the city that I work in, and they still can't sell it. They can't do anything with even the goat milk. They can't sell it to you. They can probably do it under the table, but it's like, are we seriously opening up a black market? And when you're a kid, you don't think about this thing. You're like, oh, milk good. They say drink your milk, and we had cartoon characters. We had Hulk Hogan and stuff like. You got all these people saying, drink your milk, drink milk, and stuff like that. And I personally, I love the shit out of milk, dude. But when you realize it's it goes through all those processes, so that way it can be that shelf stable. Yeah. Just because 17, 18, and early 1900s, everybody knew somebody who had a milk, had a cow, some type of milk producer. But that's why, like, say somewhere like France, every other corner has somebody making bread, because homemade bread doesn't last as long. Yeah. It's not going to make it for shipping to other places that that well. So somebody's got a bread maker around there, and everybody knows how to make a little bit of bread. Somebody's passing around a bread starter and a bread mother and all that, so that way you can make a little bit of your own bread. Yeah. Here in America, that stuff is unique. I got a friend at work, and she started getting into making her own sourdough after I started like getting her into raising chickens. Suddenly, she started making her own sourdough, and now I just buy the bread off of her. So that way I don't have to worry about doing it.
That's interesting.
And your blood sugar levels will spike a lot less on homemade bread, especially if you actually order your flour to not be enriched and overly processed and all that.
Yeah.
You can test your blood sugar levels, and her husband's type 1 diabetic, so it's pretty important that his blood sugar stays and doesn't go freak out too much.
Yeah.
And she noticed that all the homemade breads are doing really better for him, and I was like, well, good, and you don't get tired after you eat it. So
yeah. Now, does she buy eggs from you because it's part of the bread making ordeal?
mm-hmm. So that's local crack kind of working together. But it's sad that we're to this point where this is like somebody's like, oh, that's kind of cool, and it suddenly gets into there's a video going around on, I think it came from TikTok, where somebody was saying that chickens get you into conspiracy theories. So if you start raising chickens, you're going to become a conspiracy theorist, because suddenly you notice the taste of the eggs are different.
Yeah.
And if you feed your chickens quality things, you get a quality product. And you start thinking about where all your food comes from, and then you start thinking about where your bread comes from. Next thing you know, you start making your own homemade bread. Next thing you know, you're wondering, why were all these laws passed to keep us from getting a hold of good things?
Yeah.
So
it's like you look at the Amish, right? The Amish, they do selling of homemade bread and all that stuff. I've been to one of those places, but at the end of the day, you do again, using the app, I go to the grocery store and you do start asking the question, why is like a majority of the store just out here to kill me?
Mm-hmm.
Why does it have to be that way? And of course, I do go to a farmer's market, and they do sell their products. There's family like local stuff or whatever, but it's still quite expensive to go to a farmer's market.
Yeah, dude.
It's just what expense it's going to come to the point of what expensiveness do you want to pay for? Do you want to pay expensive medical bills, or do you want to pay for expensive food? Because at a certain point, your life is going to lay on the line, and I'd rather do them more now than later, because later there's no way. There's no way.
And you got to think about, like, me and my wife have been trying to get pregnant, but she was raised in an area where it's a Southern thing. There's, why did my boy? I am a better person for knowing him, even if he's gay hillbilly. Stop it, y'all. Stop it.
He's married. Gosh, leave him alone. Leave him alone.
She's just my beard, But yeah, so she was raised in the Southern culture of everything's got to be fried, and everything's got to be like, you have to have a dessert after every single meal. Well, her father ended up being a type 2 diabetic from that. Her father, and then she's been struggling with it, and then you have to start wondering, what else does it cause? And like when she was a little kid, she didn't have Tourette's. As she got older, her Tourette's came through. ADHD, stuff like that. You get into all this realm of like, and also when we do, if we do get pregnant, I told her, I said, you're going to be eating salmon. You're going to be eating all these healthy things, and it's going to suck. Like, I'm going to like just put you through it, bro, because, we're not going to risk any type of complication that we can help, and so this has been the year where we've probably done the best on making sure that we get a hold of the right foods. And it's hard to educate your partner, especially when you're going through life, and life is so busy. We're working jobs all the time. You're tired. You want to just order a freaking pizza. You want to just sit down and watch a movie together, and that's what they count on at the stores that are trying to kill you, because the point of that is that it sells things to people, and it's a get rich quick. Like, how do you get people back? Well, you lace it with sugar. How do you get people back quick? Well, you put all these nasty items at the end caps right when they're checking out, and people are like, oh god, I need that caramello. Okay, grab that. And it's designed. It's really designed. Like, there are people who, they did go to schools, and they know, the traffic flow of a grocery store. They set it up, and then there are whole corporations, that are based on teaching you how to set up your store properly for every single product. So, and one quick thing, going to back to how people are just. It's sad how excited people are about homemade stuff. In the front of Walmart right now, at one time this was hidden in the back of the store. They have a whole section of yarn at the very front, and that seems kind of weird. It's like, why is there yarn up here? But it's because they're seeing a trend where people are trying to make homemade things, and it's a fun hobby. There's YouTubers, there's TikTokers and Instagrammers, all the social media people, and they're showing you how to make a hat, from all these little yarns and all that, how to crochet, and it's becoming a thing so much to the point where now Walmart has it on a front shelf.
Yeah,
That just seems wild to me. Like, and they're taking niche little things like that, like skills and homemade things, and they understand that people want more natural options, so they stick a label on it that says organic.
Yeah, and it's not organic.
And if you know the licensing for organic, it just means that, well, there has to have been no pesticide used here that we can prove in the past 30 years. That's about it, depending on what you fertilize it with. That's all it takes.
Yeah. But before we go any further, so I at a top, like the top of the hour of every hour, I set aside some time for both of us to promote ourselves. Because I know sometimes I do it at the beginning, at the end, or whatever. But I like to do it as a reminder, like we've gone an hour, like we've gone a full hour of just chatting about whatever.
Right.
But so I did put at least the one link you wanted me to. But if there's anything else you want to promote or whatever, go ahead and I'll do my thing, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, well, on YouTube, I have the very creative channels. There's WhiteBear, then there's WhiteBear 2, then there's WhiteBear 3. So you can subscribe to all them. It doesn't really totally matter. Like, I've kind of took a step back from YouTube just because I was just like, I'm good for a minute, chasing the algorithm, and I have so much on my, on my plate. But I was like, the easiest thing for me to do is get on Twitter. And now that I have even more proper things to stream with, I got the 2 monitors, I got the better PC now, and I have everything right to be able to use it. And I was like, I'm just going to get on Twitter, and I am going to judge people. I'm going to judge all your Twitter posts, all the bullshit posts I see on Twitter. Like, I was sitting in my house one day just bummed out and depressed. I was just like, and scrolling. I kept on seeing myself scroll. I was just like, what am I doing this for? I could be bitching about. I'm like literally bitching at my phone, dude. Like, this is so stupid. Why do you post, attention seeking crap like that? I'm like, you know what? I know how to do this. I'm going to cook this up and put it on StreamYard. And I'm gonna I'm gonna judge your posts, and and it's all a lot of it in jest and funny, being over the top, and yelling at the camera. But it's been a fun, super fun time. And other than that, I just stream like the Steam games, and it's all on Twitter. So just go on my Twitter, WhiteBear Whitey, and Dara has the link on there. So check that out.
In the description below is the link, so go, and then of course there's other links to your other places as well. So I did check out that YouTube. It's like, man, this stuff is old. But so going from my end, it's a 2-parter. So I streamed both YouTube and Rumble. Of course, I use Rumble Studios to do that, and it's been awesome. I streamed to both YouTube, Rumble at Daramouthe, spelled the same for either end. I also have a Discord for at Daramouthe, but it's more of just DMing and all that stuff. I do have a fan account on Twitter X at Daramouthe, and I'll explain that in a bit. And I also have an email. So guys, listen, in the link tree, all those links are there. If you want the same chance, right? The same chance of coming on like WhiteBear and Vex Electronica and Tomby and all these others, the option is there, right? If you want an easier route, just leave a comment in either YouTube or Rumble. We can get started. But at the end of the day, you can come on. This thing is for just about anyone. I don't know how WhiteBear was at the beginning of this, but you see him talking about all the farmer stuff and eating healthy and all this jazz, and you hear him spouting his wisdom of good old farmer hand sort of stuff with all his cocks and stuff. You have a fun time with it, and again, some people don't show their face, and that is okay. This is about having a conversation with other people about whatever, and we just have fun with it. I didn't see a whole lot of content creators doing it when I started doing this sort of thing, because it was just, they talk about the topic of the day or the news of the day or whatever. I'm just like, why does it have to be about what's today? I mean, it's not in the sense of news and stuff. Like the news is pretty much useless at this point. But anyway, if you want that same opportunity, the links to get to those places are down below. Don't hesitate. Don't wait. Come on. It's worth a shot. Look at WhiteBear. He gave me a shot. He's on here. Look at that face. Look at that bearded face. He's not even a polar bear. Look at the lie. Look at the lie.
I know, dude. I need to become a VTuber. I need it.
All the gruff and stuff.
Come on here and listen to Pogo with us. It's fun.
Yeah, and his stuff is on, and Pogo stuff is on YouTube. That's the only place you'll find it, or Apple, iTunes, at least I think. But anyway, so the second part is, so of course you've heard a lot of YouTubers say this, right? Share, like, and subscribe. That's the same mantra you hear almost every YouTuber do. All right, look, my engagement is the way of helping me get more people on. I'm building my credibility. I'm building up my name, as it were. The reason why I'm doing it is so I can have people who wouldn't give me a second look come on, or will just say, whatever. I'm still out there. I'm still trying to ask people if they'd like to come on or not. Some people say yes. Some people say no. Very few say no. And some just say, I'll check your stuff out. And I never hear from them again. And it's just like, just give me a no so I can focus on other people who would give me a shot. That's all I'm looking for is the engagement is to help give me a shot with other people. Whether they're big or small or not a creator at all, it does not matter. What matters is having as many different voices, many different people, many different perspectives, and we just have a ball of just talking about whatever. Because right now you're hearing a lot of talk about entertainment. You're hearing a lot of talk about Hollywood. You're hearing a lot of talk about politics. I give a rat's behind about it all, because at the end of the day, it hasn't changed much, and all we do is complain about it not changing. Well, guess what? I'm out here having conversations, and I want to do more, but helping with the engagement helps with having more on. So if you like, comment, share it, follow, all of it, one of it, it does not matter. Any of it helps. Any of it helps. And I get to talk to people like WhiteBear. I get to talk to people like Vex Electronica. I get to talk to people who don't even show their face, like Happy Mars or Gender Duality. I get to talk to so many different people about whatever comes up. And it's been a blast for each and every single one. So if you wouldn't mind doing it, some of that, I would greatly appreciate that. And yeah, so the reason why I call it a fan account, right, on Twitter X is
Explain it to me, please.
so a while back I did have an account that had at Daramouthe. Well, it was actually at Crazier6, and I was able to change the title to Daramouthe. But then all of a sudden one morning, right, I'm checking myself, and I find that it says your account has been suspended. I'm like, okay. So I follow the link that says, submit appeal or whatever. I'm like, okay, so what's going on? Is there a recourse? What can I do? All this stuff. Hadn't heard anything in a few hours. So it's like half the day goes by. And all of a sudden I get this email saying, Twitter reserves the right. Okay, that's not an answer. So what's going on? I don't know what I did. I don't know what's going on. So I sent another one, right? At this point, I'm at my 11th or 12th appeal, and still the same generic answer. I did not get a reply. So it's a fan account. It's a fan account, and
Okay.
I've been grateful for it. It's allowed me to connect with people, but Twitter X is a mess in itself. And people are like, oh, praise Elon. I'm like, but Elon hired a WEF person to be a CEO. I really don't think you want to be praising that, especially when you go out to the entertainment side and you bash WF and you accept the WF. And I'm just like, where is the line to draw here, right? It's like, well, we wouldn't have this free speech. It's not really free speech when your account gets suspended and they can't give you an answer. But Elon's trying his best. Elon's running like 5 to 6 different companies. Do you think he cares too much about Twitter unless it serves him his purpose, which is to grow, make money, all this stuff? I know once the monetization thing hit on Twitter X, you saw everyone do bait posts, whatever. I'm just like, you get to see how humanity is when money gets involved. And I'm not saying I'm not far beyond the money reach, right? Like that's kind of nice. But it's like, I'm doing this because there's so many different perspectives, there's so many different people, and it's just a fun time to be had. on Twitter X, it's like a ball of like, what can I do to get me more views, to get me more money or whatever. I'm just like, and you saw the new thing that came out where all the likes are private now, and it's just like, I hope you enjoyed what you paid for, because I mean I'm paying for it too because it allows me to write longer posts. But I'm like, son of a bit, he got me
Yeah.
again. And it's
And there's
just,
a lot of people out there trying to suck on Elon's teats and all that, and
yeah,
it's embarrassing because you see some of the people who at one time
yep,
they were good, good meme lords and stuff like that, and people that somehow got big accounts back in the day, which was probably from botting, but either way, you see it and they'll post up it's just total bait. It's like,
yeah,
have you seen a better picture of a lady? And they got, Greta Thunberg up there, and you're like, I'm gonna comment on that, like, and see, that's why I had to. I'm like, if I'm gonna be on this platform where I'm gonna see bullshit like that, I'm
yeah,
gonna bitch about it, and I'm gonna get views out of it, okay? And some of it I can't transfer over to YouTube for obvious reasons,
yeah,
but the other part is just, I have something to, to pass my time. I'm not going to be a millionaire off of this. I'm not going to, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to do, but I am probably going to be employing a donation link on my game streams, on my Twitter streams, and my chicken streams. So that way, if anybody wants to donate to buy some food for the chickens, hey, they'll take it, and I'll take it, and we'll build a new chicken coop all together. But it's not going to be anything ridiculously big, but it is, heck, it's kind of like when you kind of get into this, which is you're having conversations with people. Like, I'll have somebody on there with me usually. I do solos on there, but I have people like the Gore King and Vex, and unfortunately I usually do it when Canola can't be on, but he's listening while he's at work, and he's telling me, he goes, I'm laughing my ass off right now so bad that I had to mute my client and mute my phone. And it's just, I'm basically just getting on there, having conversation with my co-host, and we're just both just tackling Twitter, and it brings up a whole lot of subjects. So we'll end up seeing a meme or just a post about something, and then we end up talking about it for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then we move on. But it's communication, and that's, we're on the internet a lot of times to have fun. This is entertaining. We're having a good time. We're bitching about, Himalayan salt, but those Himalayan freaking salt kids, but, we're having a good time. And that's one of the best things about the internet is that, and we can have differing views, and, I'm a little bit more pro Twitter, but it's also because I haven't had a bad experience ever since the changeover.
mm-hmm.
I have seen friends like Vex, she got her account verified and stuff like that, and started, doing the, paying because she got some posts that were over like 5 million views on one of her posts on, because Vex, of course, said something something hot, and so she became verified, because one day she might want to try to make some money off of that. It didn't affect her reach at all, it seems like. Like, we looked at her analytics over and over and over, and it seemed to help her in no freaking way. So that was kind of shitty. And, so there's some people who can get on YouTube, and the way that they make money off of it is by using a bunch of AI to redo the most basic stuff that you can Google. And it's a typical chat GBT answers, and they put it into a video format, and there's ways to collect pictures from like Pexels and all these other AI websites, and Storyblocks and other places, and you can make videos off of that. And you know what, if you have some way to keep that automated, you can make a shit ton of videos, and it will eventually make money. But it is the most bread tube bull crap. It is the most mindless, mind-numbing bullcrap that you can see on the internet, and they're just sending that stuff out at an amazing rate of speed. So, and it's taking the uniqueness out of people who really made YouTube videos. The people that we kind of looked at when we were kids and growing up and being like, that creator's doing something unique and funny. And when you saw the show like Mighty Boosh and all that stuff like that, that was unique. They ain't making that shit no more, dude.
Nope. And you see, and my thing with content creators now is that, they talk about all these properties that are failing and falling and all. I mean, of course you can mock it. I'm not against it, but it's like,
Mhm.
when some content creator says this IP is dead, and it's like, but why are you treating it like it's still alive,
Mhm.
right? Like, oh, they're making new stuff for Star Wars. I left Star Wars ages ago. I don't know anything about it anymore. It's been dead for years. What this Star Wars you talking about? Don't know anything about it. But that's not the case. It's right. They put themselves in these corners where they're talking about this stuff because it makes them money. They put themselves in
Mhm.
this corner where they can't get beyond the scope of talking about, say, they can't talk a lot about, because there's not a whole lot of independent stuff. But
Outrage sells.
yeah,
You know.
it does. Outrage, drama, all this bull crap, and it's like, I don't really give a rat's behind, because you're missing on the human factor.
Mhm.
Like, there are content creators out there that have these huge, like, 9-person panels, and they try to have a conversation, and it's so detriment to a conversation. It just sounds like your head house.
Well,
Sorry, cock house. I'm sorry. It
yeah,
sounds
yeah.
like
We call it the cockpit. Thank you very much. But well, isn't that the reason why like a lot of us turned away from news? Like Fox News or CNN and stuff like that, where they
yeah,
get somebody on there and they're like, "What do you think about abortion?" And then suddenly, they'll say, well, I don't like it, and here's why," and then blah blah blah, and then the next thing you know, okay, well, and then Joe interrupts, Steve, and then Steve interrupts, Jessica, and then somebody's over there going, "Y'all ain't black and y'all ain't a woman. You are not my servant," and then that's it. That's the end of the interview. Go on. Let's talk about taxes.
yeah,
Like this is nothing. This is like, no wonder everybody has ADHD. You can't really actually break down a single thing because it doesn't keep people's attention long enough. You can't imagine if there was a program out there where they're basically reading off like a Thomas Sowell, like an economy book and all that, and they're giving you a full speech on it, and they're explaining to you. And unless they feed it to you in little digestible bites, a lot of people won't get it. But
yeah.
also, that doesn't make money, unfortunately. And that
That's
set up like Friday Night Tights. I watched them when they first started doing their thing, but then they got like 20 different people on there talking, and it's the same reason why I stopped watching any form of the news is because of that. There's no anybody really having a conversation, and if they barely have a bit of a conversation, well, we need to move on, or we got to go to a news break. It's not real people. You don't really, and then you got people going to like, fan meetups and stuff like that, and a lot of the time it's just to meet other YouTubers that you like that are around the big people, but you don't know these people. They don't know you. They're making money off of you. And, hey, if I was making money off of a bunch of people from the internet, I'd meet them down in downtown Nashville, and I'd be like, "Hey, here I am, rock you like a hurricane," and we'll just talk, and I'll sign your dick, whatever.
I will
Give
give
me
them.
money.
I will give them this, though. They do seem genuine when they say they are there for the fans, like, the G&G, Nerdrotics, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, when you're coming to, say, the multi-person stream, you're correct in saying the only time you'll hear something clear and concise is when someone goes on a rant. And while those are great for views, my thing is, where's the conversation at? Because they have a list of topics they'd like to get through, right? And while, of course, you have a discourse and all this stuff, but it's just like, why bring up topics at all? Just come in and say, "This is Friday Night Tights, number whatever," and then have the
Hmm.
special guest and have that be that. You're titling like, "We're going to talk about this, this, and this," but you're never going to get to it. It's just, for me, it's like, I can't. I probably could do topics that I'm doing solo, like I did one on freedom, right? Like the topic of freedom, because that's a very all
Yeah, to
encompassing.
your heart.
But the thing of it is, right? It's like, for me, and I've done this. I've had, like, maybe I did a pay it forward stream, which is I do on, because of the holidays and stuff. I don't do holidays or family stuff, but every those Fridays I can do, I do it at 7 p.m. Eastern. I go around to Rumble, right? The Rumble live stream, the all encompassing live stream, not like certain sections. It's just all encompassing. I go around, I give some likes, I give some comments, I maybe give some donos along. I just a positive outlet. I don't expect anything in return. I'm always surprised when there's something that comes back. I just give because I see the future that Rumble's coming for. Still having its difficulties, sure, but at the end of the day, I see the possibility of what it can be, and that's what I'm supporting, is that future possibility. Whether I'm, whatever we need. Oh, we'll check back there. Oh no. Oh, hope to see you. Hope to see you soon, Phoenix. Thank you for coming by. But it's just like and you see, I see content creators who get stuck to the platform of YouTube, but they never branch out because YouTube does this and this, great. And I'm like, that's fine, great. But you do realize once they demonetize you or once they put you on a week lockdown or whatever, they've essentially controlled you. They essentially control you. And if you don't put yourself on other platforms where you can go to and say, look, can't do here, but guess what? I'm on this platform. That's great. You're essentially just
hamstringing yourself before the race starts. You are setting yourself up for failure. And it's good when like people are big enough they can eventually just be like, hey, listen, we'll do what some creators have done and been like, we'll meet you over on Rumble or whatever, or we'll get you on locals.
Yeah.
But while you have them, maybe set up, and if you're getting a good audience, maybe set up something on the side so that way it counts just the same as whatever credits YouTube, whatever benefits you can get out of YouTube, but do it on something else. And have it always advertised, because you never know when you'll say, especially in this kind of climate, even people who are milquetoast sometimes will say or do the wrong thing, or they'll just be like, oh, we got content warning or something like that, or like a reuse content. It's ridiculous. So
again, I stream all stuff, all my content is on both platforms. There's not one thing you'll find out of reach, but maybe one, because I was doing like gaming streams for a long while, and it just some stuff fell through or I couldn't, whatever. But at the end of the day, majority, the whole chunk of my stuff is on both platforms because it's a safety net, right? It's a safety net I've created that if YouTube decides to do something, whatever, hey, just go over here. There's my stuff at. Now I'll have to look at other platforms and maybe one day add a third. Sure, but Twitch and Kick are sort of live stream only. But there's some places that may involve video and stuff, but it's gotta. Some places need to include both live stream and pre-recorded video because people like doing both. Some just like doing one. That's okay. But content creation should be about a free form of short, long, live stream, whatever. Because if you only stuck to one point area, why should people stay there if it's just going to be just live streaming or just pre-recorded? It needs to be a little mixture of many, and that's what Rumble's trying to do. Obviously they're still working on their recommendation engine because that's the issue they have now, because that's what YouTube does so well, is its algorithm stuff. People want to be seen, but it's like, for me, it's like if you come to a new platform, you've got to work. You can't just come here expecting that everything's going to be handed to you. You've got to put in the work. You've got to come here. If you're going to come to a new platform, whether it be Twitch, Kick, or whatever, it's going to be like the first day of school. You move to a new city, you move to a new school, you're going to have to start friendships over again. You're going to have to start building relationships, whatever, over again. You've got to put in the work. And sometimes people coming from other platforms don't want to do that because it's just they've already put in the work somewhere else, so they don't want to put it on. I'm like, I'm sorry, but is it about creators or about platforms? Which is it?
Yeah, it's a lot of people want the I win button, and I think when Rumble came out, they thought, well, I can just bypass everything, and it'll work out great, and it doesn't really work like that. Even my first few videos that I posted before my account got screwed up, I had 8 videos in a row that had like 2 or 3 views, and then one had 77, and then went back down to 15 and 0 and 1 and 2, and I was just like, hey, it's there, it's building in the background, whatever. So I can appreciate Rumble. I definitely think people that they need to take their money that they're offering to some bigger names and maybe invest that on the GUI. Other than that, it's great to me. You can get away with a whole lot more that you shouldn't have to say, oh, I can get away with a lot more, because you've been so trained that you are going to get banned for anything and everything.
Yeah. And like I said, like yes, I do stream to YouTube, and that's great. But like I'm willing to give you like 98% of the field, right? Like big soccer field or whatever. I'm willing to give you 98%. I just asked for the 2%. Now, for some people, that's like I want 100%. It's like you'll never get 100% in life. Sorry to tell
Yeah,
you.
of anything.
Yeah, of anything. But if I can tell you, I'll give you 98%. At least say, well, that sounds reasonable, because of course the platforms. But I mean, people who come from YouTube and want to use, say, just on the Rumble factor, right? They expect it to be on the same level field as coming from. If you don't have the same number amount of people on there, if you don't have it's you've got to, when you come to a new platform, you've got to build it like it's your first day. You've got to treat it like it's the first day. And some content creators don't, because they don't want to put in the work they've already done elsewhere. I'm just like, but you have to understand that's with any other platform. Multi-platforming yourself means that you will start at zero on the other platform, and you'll slowly go. Perfect example is D-Day Cobra, right? D-Day Cobra, he's taken, he's Geeks and Gamers streamed to both Kick, Rumble, and now Twitter X. They're slowly growing over time. Where it used to be maybe 10, 15, 20 people on Rumble, now it's getting into the hundreds. Over a period of time, he's built that up. Same with any other creator. I know people are saying, well, I need to have better monetization on Rumble. I need to have the better reach on Rumble. It's going to get there eventually. Right now, guess what? Rumble Studios allows, if you have a certain amount of people watching you, you can read ads. It's only one ad read per stream. But at the end of the day, what other places offering that?
Mhm.
As far as I've seen, it's not very much. What other places offering their own streaming thing, like a StreamYard thing?
Yeah, video.
StreamYard makes a business on being what it is. Restream makes a business what it is. Rumble Studios is part of the business, meaning while it can be free for you, it's not free for them. But while it can be free for you, you can stream to multiple places at a time. I'm streaming to both YouTube and Rumble at the same time. It still has its bugs, it still has its needs for fixes, but it's getting there. It's slowly getting there. It doesn't have the Google resources. It doesn't have the Google money, because that's what YouTube is. YouTube is Google. I'm sorry to tell you, it's not YouTube separate. It's not separate from Google. It is Google. And you give your soul to Google if you're just on there, basically. I'm separating myself out because I don't want one platform. All goodness, to Rumble where it is, but I don't want Rumble to be the only place, because it's not an ideal situation. It's not a smart one, at least from my perspective. I don't know what you feel, but I've seen too many content creators talk the talk, do the thing, and all this stuff, and then they end up in this space where just like whatever, and I'm just like, learn from the mistakes of other and improve.
Well,
That's what
it's like I said, the outrage sells. So when somebody puts on Twitter or or I guess Facebook, if anybody using it,
it's like MySpace now.
dude, I have it for my messenger on my phone. Like my wife, all day, every day, it'll say like my wife is your wife posted something, blah blah blah. So and so posted something, and it's just like, my word, woman, like get off of there. Like, not everything needs to be on there, but it will. She's not posting actually that much, but it's sending me reminders that that my spouse has posted something. It could have been posted like 18 days ago, so it's something to try to draw you back in. But anyway, yeah. But I don't even know what I was getting ready to rant. But anyway, the outrage sells. So you get people on Twitter who will post something and say like, hey, can you see this?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm being limited, or something's happened to my account. Yeah, I'm being shadow banned. And a lot of that is just like, oh, you wanted an extra $18, because you wanted people to like your post and all that and share and be like, do you see, the biggest, X or Twitter user in the world? Do you see what they're posting? Because I did, but other people apparently can't. Like, people are so concerned with that, and and then you get people saying my channel is under attack. It's become a meme in itself for a lot of people. But there's people who get on there who don't want to really explore a topic to its end, and that's how they make their bread and butter. And when they run into a few troubles, that's when they suddenly come run into Rumble or to any other platform, because they got their butt hurt a little bit. And but you spent your entire time, like take somebody like the Quartering, not gonna ever explore a subject that deeply, other than like maybe over a certain creator, but even then it's limited. That person is just, their whole format is, I'm going to put out like 6 to 13 minute long videos about a subject and give you the hot takes, and I'm going to read somebody else's hot take about it and do commentary over it. And go ahead.
They're becoming the 24/7 news ordeal where they're just reading a prompt. They're reading someone else's article. There are people out there who are being journalists, right? Like what's her Samantha, whatever it is, or Samantha Gomez, whatever it is. There are people out there being actual journalists. Then you have these people who are sitting in front of a computer screen reading a Kotaku article or whatever article. You're not a journalist. You're just putting your what you're doing is reading someone else's work. You're putting your personal thought out about it, which is fine. But at the end of the day, there's nothing new there. There's nothing new there. I may be talking about stuff, there may be nothing new there, like, the politics or whatever, but I'm going over a whole field. I've got a whole field, baby. I've got a soccer field. Well, not a soccer field. I got a stadium field. I can go wherever I want. You know how the stories you see of this, like streakers and stuff going out on a soccer field, whatever. I'm running out. There's no one else out there. I'm running free, baby. I'm running out there. I'm bringing people on because I want to show that there's a way to do this, whether it's live or whatever. I can't do editing. That's why you won't see like pre-recorded videos as much anymore. I do the shorts, which I use Opus Pro. If you don't know what that is, uses AI to help some stuff, but I still do the rest of the 10%, which is editing and all this other stuff to make it at least somewhat coherent. Right. At least to my perspective. I may not be coherent myself. But the point of the matter is I kept seeing these content creators turn into the 24/7 news. It's like it's not even MSNBC anymore. It's just sit down, read article, give personal thought about it. That's fine. But then you just keep doing it over and over and over. It's about today's news. Where the heck is something you could talk about like from 10 years ago? We're talking about the farmer's market. We're talking about prices of food or whether food is
like real life or something,
like real life stuff. Yes, there's some stuff from the day, like the politics and whatnot. But then we can go back 100 years and say, well, there's stuff was like in pennies. And pennies stuff was you could buy and it was more healthy for you than what is, well, maybe not more. There's probably some stuff that was worse. But there's probably more.
Those asbestos burgers, they were good. They were good. Bring them back.
Those lead paint chips, they were really working out. That dirty water. But it's like we come to a point of limiting ourselves because we want to again keep the money and all this stuff or keep up to a certain degree. And just like I'm willing to go almost anywhere because some things are off topic, whatever, because of course streaming the platforms you do and all that stuff. But I'm willing to give 98% of the field. That is huge. Go to any other content creator and ask them, can you give me 98% of the field? I'm only giving 98% of the field. I don't care if you curse on here. I really don't. 2%. All I ask is for the 2%. And it's over and over and over again with these other content creators. Now, of course, there may be people out there who do the freeform or whatever. I haven't seen it. I'm just following these certain people I've going to, whatever. But there's so many gamers out there. There's so many. At a certain point, it's not about the game anymore. It's about the personality. And sometimes the personality isn't even that great.
Yeah. If you're good looking and you play games, you're probably gonna have better views than me. But you know, like if I do this a little bit more, you know, like maybe if I show off my chickens on the but you know, like you have to have a stick, you know.
You show off your cock.
If I whip my cock out, then things might get, you know, we might get turned off on a certain platform. But you know, you have to have a certain shtick. Either be super duper interesting, super duper handsome, or be a female. And like, you know, no, I'm kidding. That's a little bit.
The last one is true, but you have to be a good looking female.
Yeah.
Now there are some just on Twitch basis, right? There's shows on Twitch basis. There are some women out there who do have a talent or whatever, and they do a really good job. But guess what they get? They get the guys that ask, "Do you have an OnlyFans? Do you whatever?" And it's just like you're creating a self-fulfilling prophecy,
dude. It is so bad. Like it is very, very cringe whenever you see somebody who's actually on there. Like if you stream with any female content, creators and all that, like there is a bias, and that bias is there's always going to be some creep who comes out of the woodwork, and they're like, they hit you up in your DMs, and they'll be like, "So you got boobs, and those are great."
More of those, please.
Yeah.
Well, and the funny thing is I'm on Twitter X, right? And you see all these women, they do all these, they do show cleavage. And of course, I'm gonna like them, and then I get called out for, it's a funny, joking manner. But I get called out for it's like, it's free. It's absolutely free right there. They're showing it off. Yeah. And I'm just saying, it looks great. And they're just like, you're a bad person. I'm like, but you're the one showing off. You're the one showing.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. It's kind of like, why would anybody pay for, if somebody still looks at, if you still look at porn and stuff like that, like you can get it all for free. So why would you pay for it? Like it's all out there, and apparently freaking they're going to have like a section on Twitter now just for porn. So.
Well, it's not like they got rid of it anyway. It's not like they were doing a good job of it. It was just like it's been there. It's going to be more prevalent.
I think there's going to be. It's just supposed to basically be like, okay, well, we're going to put a filter on everything that is supposed to be that. They seriously just need to keep it in its own section. Yeah. I know, people who produce that kind of stuff, like they want it in your feed, so you accidentally roll up on it, or they want to comment and leave a picture of themselves in like a big, a big comment and all that, on a bigger post and all that. But if they could just separate it out, I'd be fine. I don't care. You're going to do it anyways. Might as well just put it and make money off of it somewhere else and all that. But I don't want to see. I don't want to be scrolling through my Twitter and see all that. Like, I'm good. Like I'm married. I've got my good things going. So, at a certain point, you're just like, you don't have to see all that all the time. And when you see somebody streaming with it, it's now in my mind, it's such a detriment. Like you are putting it all out there, and get ready to get hit. You're going to get hit in your comments, and you're going to get hit in your DMs, and you're going to be one day on the internet going, "Why am I being sexualized? Oh my God." Like you're going to be one of those people. Don't do this to yourself, people. Please.
Please. No, wait.
Please. No. How dare you? Oh, did I drop a controller? Oh my God.
Well, and don't get me wrong. It's not intentional. Like it's just because some women they like wearing those type of shirts, right? Mm-hmm. It's intentional, I understand, but that's far and few in between of the not intentional. Every
single woman, even ones who aren't, like aggressively out there, they all are aware of their cleave. Like they all are going to put it on in front of the mirror and be like, okay, this is like church cleave, like this is acceptable, But then there's ones who are like, oh my God, I'm not like sexy bitch. Stop it. Get down.
Give me a certain amount and I'll write it on my arm and stuff. Like, okay.
Yeah, you are literally selling yourself. And see, so that's why I'm not trying to hate on like the FNT people, but there's a certain part of when it comes down, what you can filter all this down to is, are you selling your time? Are you selling yourself, to people on the internet? Are you enjoying it with them? Are you like honestly, like you can be the most famous person in the world and get to that point where you hate people and you don't even want to talk to them when you're signing your autograph to them. Like you have a handler who will help them not talk. They don't want any interaction and all that. But then there are people who go out there and every time that they see somebody, like there was somebody from, God, what was that film? Really early Tom Cruise and I think Johnny Depp was there. Like it was like a bunch of kids. Not Lost Boys. It's based off of a book.
Is it? Well, he was in a vampire movie. He was in the Jerry Maguire, Mission Impossible. He's been in a lot. It seems like it's mostly just Mission Impossible I can remember.
Oh shit. Okay. Not Taps, not Legend.
Oh,
He
like
was-
Maverick, the whatever that movie series is.
No, The Outsiders. Okay, the movie The Outsiders. So there's one of the characters from The Outsiders who became a Christian and a country music artist, and he now lives in Tennessee, and he was an actor.
Really?
And so, and he was in that movie. Anyway, so like he came to our, our county fair, and he was going to do a set there, and my wife, she found out about it, and she has like T-shirts and posters and all that, and she was like, I'm going to bring my T-shirt up there, and of course not wearing it. And she says either that or my book, I don't know which one. And she was walking on along, and then she kept on hearing this person talk, and she looked over, and it's the dude and his wife. And she was like, she suddenly like, do I interrupt their personal time to get something signed? This is awkward and all that. But then dude noticed her and goes, hey, how you doing? And all that. And she was like, oh, hey, I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you and all that. And he goes, is that an Outsider's book? Wow, that's old. He goes, yeah, you want me to sign that? And she's like, yes. So there are people who honestly enjoy their time with fans and friends, because but they also know that this is a business model too. You don't have to totally make both things exclusive, but so like I said, I'm not hating on the people from F&T. I just don't like the format anymore, because it's like what we were talking about earlier. This is just like the talking heads on the news, all throwing information at you all at once, and there's no real personal conversation. There's inside jokes that sometimes get shared, and those become memes, and then all the fandom under them are like memeing all day and like wanting to get noticed by those people. But after a while, it's like embarrassing looking at people like seeking the attention of those bigger YouTubers. Make your own thing. Please, for the love of goodness, just make your own thing. And that's how you get brought on a show. That's how you get, even noticed. Like, if I was a rando, like, I probably, you probably wouldn't have a reason to, like, really have had me on here.
No, you're a rando. You're just a random person through another person, though.
Right. But it's because we only knew, me and her only know each other because we both created stuff. And then we also, we started working on a show together. But we both have our own independent channels. So if you can just make your own thing, that there's. Go ahead.
No, I just want to say for anyone who comes out, you're not a no. I mean, essentially starting out, you're kind of a nobody because I don't know you very much and you don't know me very much. You might have seen my stuff, but the thing of it is you're not a nobody when you come on and have a conversation, because you have a perspective on the world, what you see through your life, right? Because you're married, you have a family, you have a farm and all this stuff. You have a lot of different things going on in your life. How many can say they know of other than the people who like Cannoli and Vex and all stuff?
Mm-hmm.
How many can they say beyond that they know you in that retrospective? Wow, so you do farming, and oh wow, you do all this stuff and be a chef and all that. How many? It's just mind-boggling, because again, with the F&T, he has 1 million followers. Imagine the possibility of each and every one of those people having the opportunity to just come on. Because you see those guests that come on F&T, if they're not like Drinker, Mauler, or these people that are well known in the group, they just come on as a guest. They're in the center. They're not talking very much. The conversation's going around them. It's not going with them. Imagine they can get somebody who's never been on a channel before. They get on some random person in chat, right? As long as they're respectful and they have a mic. Right, those are the two rules, big rules, and the keyboard.
Yeah.
As long as they have that, and they just imagine the conversation they can have this person, like they learn about this person. It doesn't have to be about entertainment or Hollywood or whatever, because all those things can fade away with technology. Did no one see the Sora AI stuff? Did no one see that? The AI, degenerative AI like Midjourney and stuff. Did no one see all that stuff? They can complain all they want, but the tools are there. Pro. I use Pro to make my shorts, and they're both on YouTube and Rumble. The technology is going to be there where Hollywood no longer has to exist anymore. There was a movie a long time ago. It was called Simone. It had Al Pacino in it, right? It was a long, long time ago. But it was about a movie about him taking a simulated person, right? They simulated person was making, and it was a simulated actor. It was just an actor that's never there, but on screen they were. And so sooner or later, you're going to see that technology come true, and it won't matter. Hollywood won't matter anymore. The old Hollywood is dead and gone. I'm sorry to tell you, it's dead and gone. The actors that are still around that have been from the old Hollywood, they're not going to be around much longer, and that Hollywood is going to disappear with them. The new Hollywood is going to be anyone and everyone who can get their hands on and make something that interests people. Now, are they going to chase the algorithm? Are they going to chase the monetization? Yes, because that's what they want. Some people are going to chase after being creative and whatnot because they just don't have the skills or whatever. But at the end of the day, the technology is what's going to outrule skill. I mean, there's still going to be skills, but it's in a different metric. I mean, it's going to be a different metric, like, how do you do this or that, or whatever. But the technology is going to change that field where you had to have millions of dollars, big stars, and all this stuff. Sooner or later, Sora AI is going to come out to the fold. And guess what? 1 minute ordeal. So the shorts, right? They're going to just be shorts. And people, whoever they are going to overtake Hollywood, and Hollywood will no longer exist.
I agree, but also at the same side of it, I have 200,000, kids on social media who think that they are Hollywood, and they are the new Hollywood. Okay, so and here's the thing is that this is why like a lot of traditional actors are super freaking jealous, and sometimes try to make an online presence when they just don't know the real feel of the field. They're not in with it, and you got people who haven't even somehow heard of Al Pacino. But they've heard of Little Gleek Leak, and Little Gleek Leak on the internet, and he's in a swimming pool full of 400,000 people that are just like him, but he sets his neighbor's garbage on fire, and he does something more extreme to get attention, and somebody does something more and more extreme to get attention, and so that is one kind of thing that I worry about. Like we are going to get to the point where I can wear a bunch of like little green dots on my body and walk around on camera, and I will be a full busty female, and I'll have voice modulation, and then I'll whip out my cock, and then it's like a double entendre there. But there will be people who are like the most basic looking people like me, like some short hairy dude, with blonde and ginger hair and all that, but I'm going to look like a total freaking Chad because of whatever AI. It's going to be able to capture me. I'm going to have 4 cameras in my room, and it'll be capturing me. And you would think that would make us all like the coolest next thing, but eventually everybody will have it, and something new will have to be made for you to actually stand out, because eventually this will all be common, except for this right here where people actually have real conversations about real life. That will never be common. Not and that's the sad fact about half of the internet is searching for people to make you feel something. It's so sad, but there's a lot of people who crave learning the most basic skills, and then there are people who just want to hear conversation because they're trapped in a world where everything's all over your phone and everything's extreme. And sometimes they just want to hear people talking, and they can associate with them and be like, yeah, fuck them Himalayan salt making people. Sorry, Phoenix.
Tell those monks to go back to the mountains because we don't need them.
But, that's why, when I watched your show and all that, I was just like, yep, that's the right way to do it, in my opinion, is just have conversations. I think a lot of people, including myself, just crave that because you want to get, we're on a format like, me and my crew, we're on a format where we do get on and we will, usually not try to hate watch something. Like 95% of our stuff is not hate watching. We'll have somebody in there who's a hater, and sometimes that's been me. I'm be like, oh, this is shit, and let me tell you why this is shit. And I'll do some over the top stuff on camera. And my whole thing is I like comedy. I like laughter. I like make people laugh. with so yes, give me more, Daramouthe. So anyway, but I feed from your laughter and the tears of children. So,
Give
but
me your joy. Your joy.
But you got, we have that format where we are talking about some property that's out there, and we're trying not to hate our lives, and we talk about it, and we go from scene to scene, and we break it down, and we give our personal insights. Yeah. And that huh?
Break it down for me, Whitey. Break it down.
Yeah.
In the hood.
I think my name is the wrong name for any of that, but DJ WhiteBear up in here. But
DJ Whitey's coming in the hood.
But that's sorry.
No, you're right.
But our conversations that we all have, like, okay, after we get done with our show, we will all sit there and talk to each other for about sometimes up to an hour, sometimes up until like 3 a.m. We did it one time, just all talking to each other with sometimes a guest, one of the people that we actually really liked and we all got along with. We'll sit on there and just talk about life. And that's why, like, or if even when we get done early, like me and our main three crew here, we'll just go start talking to each other right after that. Like we speak to each other every single day. So building real relationships is actually possible through this format, and hearing people have real life conversations. I've met families through here. I met just from the internet alone. I went to high school with my wife, but we met. I actually met because of the internet back in early, in the early 2000s and stuff like that. So it's, it's possible, and people actually crave real relationships. Yeah. And so if you can give that to them on the internet in some format, go for it.
Yeah. It's just right now for my end of things, it's just that name recognition is just, again, it's more done in the sense of I'm trying to become undeniable in the sense somebody can look at me and say, oh, I heard about this person, like, he says he's opening the door for people to come on, I'll give him a shot. Instead it's just like, oh, I can just whatever, just this person, but they don't have the numbers, whatever. And that's the funny thing too, is like you could have these content creators that look at someone and say, hey, would just like to chat up to you about whatever. And some people understand they need a topic, they need something to jump off from, but I'm like reading Rainbow. We can go twice as high. We can go anywhere. That sort of thing. It's in the book. Take a look. It's Reading Rainbow.
Anything's possible. Anything's possible, Dara.
Anything's possible. Well, except that stuff. That's a little touchy, but because of all the platform rules and stuff. But for me, it's just like I have seen what the free form, and there are some other people that do it. I did get corrected by someone. I did, stop by on one of my pay it forward streams, and I'm hopefully they can get on. But I just don't see enough of it. And of course, I'll never reach everyone. It's just an impossibility. But if I can reach 1 million people, right? 1 million people, imagine that. I'd have content for the rest of my life. And this is content that people can grasp onto. I've had people come on. I've had one dude, Jack Tarlad, come on for seven different times. And it's just like, we can still come on and still have a conversation. That's when there's something there to it. That's when and I've had April filled. I've had May filled. I'm trying to get June filled. I have 2 days left. It shows that there is something there that is missing. And again, like you, I don't want to come down hard on these other content creators, but it's like they build to a point that they kind of forget. It's not about the news of the day. I could give a rat's, unless it's like something, someone got killed or whatever, or maybe a celebrity died or whatever. Sure. But at the end of the day, the news of the day does not matter because, well, first of all, we know that majority of the news is fake anyway, right? And you complain about all these companies and these articles and stuff, and you're just like, oh, article bad, Hollywood bad, whatever. But you still give money to them to some degree. You still give money to them in some degree. Right. You can mock them all you want. That's fine. But when you talk about, say, the new Star Wars stuff, I'm sorry. When you say Star Wars is dead and yet you keep talking about it, it's either
You're
weekend.
kind of keeping it alive.
Yeah, it's either weekend at Bernie's or it's necrophilia. At that point, it's what it is. It's what it is. And like, just say it's dead and never go back to it again. Now, if something comes up, someone brings it back, and it does really well, you could say, "Wow, somebody resurrected Star Wars, and it's really great, awesome." But until that time, don't talk about it. Don't give it any money. Same with all these other the censorship stuff and all this stuff. Money is the only thing that matters to these companies. If you give them any attention, if you give them any money, you have lost. I went through, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Pandas Up from yesterday. Had him on and we went over the rules of the internet, right? There's the, 4chan stuff, whatever, but the rules of the internet is basically like, rule 17, highlighted it. And one of the rules is that, fudge, hold on. I'm gonna have to go find it because I can't remember. So we're gonna go over it. We're just gonna go over a quick thing about. Yeah,
the rules of the internet. Don't look up Goatsy.
Yeah, I know. This is a LinkedIn thing. Okay, so you can see. All right, so here's the rules of the internet. Right, this rules of the internet is a loose collection of unofficial rules that first spawn from the website, but they are true. So like this one, right? Rule number 7, no matter how much you love debating, keep in mind that no one on the internet debates. Instead, they mock your intelligence as well as your parents. That's hilarious, but it's true. And then there's this one right here, Rule 14. Don't argue with trolls. It means they win.
Yeah.
Who argues with trolls? Content creators.
Ton
of content.
Ton.
And just like this one, even the silly stuff like Rule 18, everything that can be labeled can be hated. Is like, holy crap! And the more you hate,
I was looking at that one.
The more you hate it, the stronger it gets. And it's just like, holy crap! What do these content creators do when they hate on something so much or mock it so much? And it's like, but it's not going away.
Yep. And in fact, there's going to be somebody, whenever they see that you hate it, they already don't like you. But then when they see that you hate it, they will suddenly defend it. They'll become pros. They will study up on it and learn how to defend it.
Yeah. And then there's stuff like Rule 42, nothing is sacred, or Rule 46, the internet is serious effing business. I like the funny ones where it's like, Rule 49 is like, you can't divide by 0 just because the calculator says so. I just like stuff like that because there's a truth to it. Once you hear it, it's true, and you're like, where have these rules been all my life? But I just, and it's a LinkedIn, it's a LinkedIn a thing, and I can give you the link if you want.
Yeah, send that to me.
Yeah, but it's I'll do it in the DMs later. But it's just like, the more you hate it, the more stronger it gets, and it's just like, how does no one understand that rule? But meet it with kindness if you have to, or ignore it. But the more you hate on something, like, oh, Star Wars is dead. Star Wars is, has it left yet? Has it died yet? Has it changed yet? No.
How many times a week, or okay, in a 5-month period, you will see posts from certain people and people that I like, but it'll be Disney is dead.
Disney is dead.
Star Wars is dead. Yeah. New CEO destroys entire company, and it's in flames. And no, it's not, dude. They're going to be around a long time. And until you do anything about it, until you make something new, like that was, I think, Vegas, when she was on a rant, you probably got a brunt of that when she's talking about
the Stellar Blade.
The Stellar Blade, the whole situation. Yeah, you probably got the full brunt of that because she has
Hell Divers. It was a Hell Divers thing. The petition, and then it became part of the Stellar Blade, and like, I got it. I understood that part for the Hell Divers because it was used, right? Because it was PlayStation requiring an account to log into it, right? On the PC side, and then just like, they're making a petition, whatever. It's like, yeah, sure, if you complain about it, they may hear you, but they're on the other side of the world. The only thing that's going to matter is physical evidence of this dissatisfaction. And guess what you do? Flood it with letters. flood it with letters. I don't care what you say. You throw mountains and mountains of letters through their letterbox, and they're getting these bags and bags. It's like when kids mail a letter to Santa Claus, right? The post office gets these miles of bags.
Right.
Do that to the places. Go send a letter to Hollywood about whatever. I didn't like this movie, and keep sending them a letter, and they keep getting mountains of letters.
Mhm.
They can shred it all they like, but there's going to be a new one tomorrow, and they're going to keep getting these letters, and it's going to build and build and build, and the physical evidence of this dissatisfaction is going to build. A petition online, they don't see the numbers. They'll see a number, but it's not going to matter. They need to see a physical evidence of a number. And it's just like, yeah, he did offer other stuff to like that, but it seems like the petition is useless. It's pointless.
Well, digital signatures don't really matter. You know, like you're saying, like if most of our conversation could have somehow been, you know, created and put together with AI, and, you know, like continued conversations after it studied us.
Yeah.
I think that they can fake signatures, okay? But my big thing is, like, if like it's Star Wars, so I like the original 3, and then I'm okay with some of the prequels and bits and pieces of it, and then after that, I said, okay, I'm done. You know, like, because I saw what they started producing after that, I was like, no, and I didn't see the, like, the last 2. I had plenty of people on the internet reviewing it for me. I didn't need to see it, you know, but so I didn't give it my money, and, you know, I didn't do a Disney, you know, subscription. I didn't want to give it my money, you know, and whenever somebody tries to talk to me about it, I'm like, I can tell you like 13% of the lore compared to all the stuff that they're putting out now. And then after that, you know, I just don't care. In fact, you've put out so much stuff that I barely even care about the old stuff anymore. So, you know, you've kind of ruined that for me. And guess what? I'm not buying any of it. So, you know, when they ruin a market like that, they're going to see, hopefully they're going to see people just kind of fading off on it. Like, okay, well, you guys better start using the AI to make these things, because, you know, you're not going to be able to afford people to work on them, because they're not going to have enough returns on your money there. But there's the thing keeping it alive is, hate watchers, you know, people who are, you know, I can understand, like, if you're trying to explain film to people, like, it is kind of good to be able to review something, but at least review something that's worth reviewing. You know, don't review the biggest pile of dog shit. Like, I'm gonna go outside and, like, find where my dog just took a dump and be like, you know, this dog shit, if you take a look at it, oh, you see that little kernel right there? That's actually a melodramatic kernel. No, it doesn't work like that. Review a tractor, or, you know, review a push mower that you got, and you're like, you know, this thing kind of sucks at times, but it does get the job done. And here's why. That's informative. That's, you know, teaching people what can go wrong with mowers. What's the typical, you know, like, what belt is going to break first. Okay, do that, but don't be reviewing the dog shit. It doesn't matter. And guess what? Other people start coming and bringing their dogs into your yard, and then they're shitting in your yard, and then you start reviewing other people's dog shit. What kind of world do we live in? And there's probably a cat in there too.
There's a cat. It's right.
There's a cat. He's shitting too. You know, you're like, oh, I don't know if this is dog shit or a cat shit. You know,
and not only that, but not everyone's review is going to line up with your tastes. I've had the movie. So there was a movie, If, right, the one with, you know, Ryan Reynolds and John. Of course, there were some bits I didn't, you know, fully like, but there were some parts of it where it strikes upon this idea that as a child, you have a vivid imagination, you have imaginary friends, and then you have the effects of it for you as an adult, the imagination side of it, and how adults can lose some of that, right? You know, you comic writers, whatever, they have imagination, but you as an adult, you kind of lose a part of that. And it kind of shows the loss of that as an adult, and the connection between that as a child and adult. And for me, I really enjoyed it. I gave it like a 8 or 9 stars out of it. But I see these little content creators and like, it wasn't worth it. The story didn't make sense. But I'm like, but that means that your review of it and my review of it didn't match up. So it's like there's a disconnect here. And of course, you know, they're official. You know, there are people who've reviewed movies forever and they're looking for that perfect story. Whatever. But you miss the point of the story. There is a heart there. It's just there are some parts of it that just don't make sense to me or whatever. But of course, the director of it and written by John Krasinski, you know, Jim Office, who did
Mhm.
The Quiet Place, which was pretty good. Um,
Yeah,
but
we reviewed that I guess 2 weeks ago.
mm, but for me, it's just like if you went to see the movie, right? If you went to see the movie for what it was, yeah, you had kids with you, but you got to see this part of yes, part of it was for children, but then we get to the part where the situation changes. It's no longer about a little spoiler, right? It's no longer about trying to transplant these old imaginary friends on kids. It's about going back to their original people, the original imaginators, and trying to figure out how can we connect. And it's through memories, right? We all connect through memories in some way. That's nostalgia, old, like Back to the Future and what the stuff. All these things can connect us through memories, and that's where the rubber hits the road for this stuff, because then you begin to see it's not just about the kids anymore, it's about the adults too. They've lost a part of their imagination. This shiny, you as an adult, you grew up and you try to have kids and all this other stuff, you
Mhm.
try to prepare them, but you lose that ability to where when you're trying to not deal with your child in a sense, but trying to understand that at a certain point you were in the same, not in the same position, but you were in the same spot that your kid is in now, right? You were once a 16-year-old, you were
Mhm.
once a 5-year-old, you were once a 7-year-old. How are you feeling at the time when situations going on? Maybe you're not in the same position as then, but there are similarities, and so you have these things that are similar but different, and it's about the connection between both. That's why there's a huge age disparity where one side says you're wrong and it says you're wrong, but you don't understand you were once in that position long ago. So where is this conversation to sit down and have? Yes, I'm not saying you have to be friends with your kids. It's a totally different subject. But remember to listen for once. I'm not here to tell you how to parent. Don't take parenting advice from me.
You
I'm not a
tell
parent.
them. No, tell them.
But it's like there was I was on with another creator. Her name was Jessica Reloaded, and in her chat she had some, because we were talking about parenting, right? But we were talking about perspective of. We weren't talking about how to be a parent and all this stuff. We were talking about our perspective of what we saw on the parenting, whatever. And she was just, the person in the chat was just coming after us because like, you're not a parent, whatever. And it was like, we know we're not parents. I have admitted I'm not a parent, but we are talking on our perspectives, our view, and we're allowed to do that. I'm not coming at you at being a parent. You know what's best for you and your family. That should be the whole point. Stop right there. Don't listen to me. That's the whole point. But when I'm coming to you as saying a perspective, right? Someone who's not a parent, but you're a parent, and we can have this conversation going back and forth of like, I don't have kids, you have kids, this is your viewpoint, this is my viewpoint, and yet we're able to walk away not hating on each other, not ripping each other apart. We have simply come to this point of a conversation where, yes, I don't know what it means to be a parent, but guess what, a lot of parents miss out on trying to have a conversation with their kids about what once was. Like, I understand. So we're going to come to the part where the sex talk, right? Where it was awkward for you between your parent, and it's probably awkward to you for your kid. But how did you feel when you had that conversation with your parent? What were you feeling at the time when they were trying to explain to you how you got here, right? Because you
Mhm.
got here somehow, but they
Right.
had to explain to you how you got here. How did you feel about it? What did they do to you, right? What not do to you, but how they explain the situation to you? There's all those things you go over, and then you realize, well, it felt kind of awkward. It felt like this. What do you do with your kid on that matter? How do you talk to them? How do you take those lessons
Mhm.
and try to at least where's the line of similarity that can be used to help with that matter? Because it's not about being enemies. It's about helping your kid to learn about the world that's around them, to prepare in some manner, and then having them be able to pass that on. The how to teach and all this other stuff. It, it for me, it just boggles the mind where we lose out on that. It seems simple, but it's so complicated because life itself, right? Life is not simple at all. So,
Yeah. Well, people can tell you that you're not a parent. You don't know the meaning of what it is to be a parent. Um, a lot of parents don't know what the meaning of being a parent is. Kids are just a byproduct of them being around each other. So,
yeah,
that's a cop out. But but yeah, I hear what you're saying. There are just people who kind of take to extremes And people on the internet are used to the only thing getting seen is extremes. So you have a take where you two are just talking, just having a conversation, and somebody's like, almost like they're getting bodily offended, like, why are these non-parentals talking about parenting? Like, oh, so I gotta be outraged, and that's the internet right there. That's a good example of the internet and how that happens. And no offense to the person who was in chat, they might have like misunderstood what the purpose of the conversation was.
Yeah.
But it is the internet, and this is what happens on here. It's one of those rules on the LinkedIn. It's like people are going to get outraged over anything. If it's undefinable, what you two are talking about, then it means it's hate. Yeah.
And for me, right, and going beyond this point, I want to tell you right now, your hate, like, why there are some things to hate in the world, or dislike in the world, whatever. But the majority of the time, it is useless hate. It is useless hate. And the funny thing is you're gonna die probably still hating that person or thing or whatever, and it never lets go.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be a time in our lives where we have to sit down with ourselves, like just a self conversation where we sit down with ourselves and say, it is time to let this thing go. Yeah, there are some things you don't let go because of the context of what the situation was. It's wide and variable, but let us take a step back. Let us take a conversation with ourselves and say, this hate I have, I hate the government for all it does. But what am I doing to change that? Right?
Mm-hmm.
You hear the people talk about taxes, whatever. What are we doing to change that? I hate that, Hollywood does this and this and this. But what are you doing to change that? What are you doing to make something different, to go beyond the scope? And it's like this wheel that turns into itself and it goes nowhere. It speeds itself up to create those sparks, the flux, and all this stuff, but it goes nowhere. It's like a tire wheel without the tire,
Mm-hmm.
like them just kind of goes.
Yeah.
or train tracks or train wheels that are on just level ground. It just doesn't go anywhere. Something like that.
Right. Kind of like a treadmill.
Yeah.
You're putting a lot of effort into going nowhere, but and there is a fine line. Like, I get it that there are people out there who your skill is to be able to inform people. And, that's why, I just don't go around just ultimately hating on these people who, that's their, their like YouTube job or whatever and all that. Like, there are some people who, like, they make their whole personality about hating on that person, just because they don't like the type of videos that they put out. But, like, they've doubly won against you at that point, by the way. But my thing is, like, it gets to the point where you have somebody like, I don't know, any type of, your favorite political entertainer who is just quick-witted. They're on it. They have every answer. They have a brain that's perfect for this kind of crap. And at some point, they know that they chose entertainment, easy money, never having to really stand for anything over having to stand for something. And maybe that simplifies it too much, like, saying like they've never had to stand for anything, but they're actually not doing anything that will make a change other than it is good to inform people. It is good to, to like help people brain it out. But eventually, what are you doing to help promote people to do something about that? Now that I can respect, when you're helping organize people enough to, and informing them on a, small, succinct little subject where they can say, you know what, maybe I don't want to actually vote for a new tax this year when it comes tax time. Maybe I don't want that because, like, taxes never really go away. They turn into something else. I've never had a time where they're like, oh yeah, by the way, we're not doing this tax on you anymore. They usually turn it into something else. So, inform people, hey, don't vote for new taxes. Just do that and explain why and how, and then have conversations with people on how and wow. Why and how, but why and wow.
No, it works that way. Just how and why. There you go.
Yeah. So we'll go with that. Wow. Yeah. Okay. So wow. So I get that there are people, that's going to have to be their job. You're going to have to entertain, and you're going to have to inform, but please do something about it because that's kind of what we've been talking about here. It's like you can get on the internet and you can be the most vitriolic asshole, and you're not really doing anything, and you're the only people that you're attracting. They're easy views.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is really easy views to find something like Star Wars and just hate on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I may not be doing hard physical work, but I'm certainly doing some form of hard work.
yeah.
At least I think that way. I might be wrong though. I don't get much feedback on my stuff, so there's that. But
Same here. But it's not like we are putting out. I don't think that we're really putting off a whole lot of life right now. By having good conversation on the internet. There's people who just veg out in front of TV watching Netflix all day. They're not even putting anything out on the internet. They're just nothing but a total consumer. So at least I'm doing better than that. I'm burning calories right now. My brain is having to say things like "wow," like "wow." But yeah, so
I'm here to tell you it's all gonna be sham. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh Lord. But anyway, so we've gone past that point of the top of the hour because it was just too good to pass up. But anyway, so I think we're gonna call it a night because I've got to get up in the morning, so I've got to get going to bed soon. But anyway, thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for giving me the chance because again, still can go out there, still can ask people, but they're still gonna pass me over because I'm not big enough or whatever. And I'm like, I do want to become something that's undeniable, but that's gonna take time. And for me, I want to share. Oh, it's the Matrix all over.
That's how you get undeniable right there.
Yeah, you become the one. But for me, it's like I want to share this with a whole lot. I'm not looking to be like the highest person or the low, whatever. I'm looking to be. There's a lot of people on the ground floor. Maybe there's some people higher up or whatever. Maybe I'll try to get them on. But it's about what we just had for the past 2 hours, 2 hours and 10 minutes exactly. But I've been sitting here talking about whatever. We've gone from farmers market, raising chickens, to the cock farm, and then all of a sudden we're talking about how there's less authenticity. And of course, yes, I've done ad reads on the Rumble Studios, so sure. But more times than not, I can't do it because I don't have the amount of viewers watching. So there's that. And then, but I don't care because this thing right here has been awesome. We've talked about stuff that excites me to the point it's like there's a deepness to it, but there's also a realization that it needs to happen because we've gotten stuck on being stuck on this thing, and we lose focus, and then so we become like you without your glasses. Everything's out of focus. We can't see where we're going. All that stuff. But when we kind of start getting back on focus, like how do we better do this stuff? Like you're talking about the community thing with your friend making the bread, she buying the eggs from you, you buying the bread from her. You do this sort of thing where it can't pay it around in a sense. It's not easy, but nothing in life ever is. So there's that. But anyway, go ahead and promote yourself. I'll do my end. And then, of course, I have a thing out. But just go promote yourself. I'll talk to it after.
Okay. Well, yeah, check me out on right now. Probably the best thing to check me out on is just Twitter, or X or whatever. Check me out on there. Other than the weekends or my end of the week, which is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I work longer hours those days. But the rest of the days, check me out on there. I'll probably be promoting somebody who needs to be seen and who's worth your time, or I'll be streaming. I'll be streaming like 3 different types of shows. So see me on there. And also on Mondays, I'm on Canoli Sasquatch's show during the nighttime for Triple M. And you can catch me there, and WhiteBear Whitey on Twitter. There you go.
I thought it said Whitney.
I know, right? I've even read it before and be like, Whitney?
WhiteBear Whitney? What the?
Yeah. I got a little Whitney in me,
Hey. But yeah, no, that's pretty awesome. And of course, his link is down in the description below. And so it's my turn. So guys, I streamed both YouTube and Rumble simultaneously. I put both my content on both ends, like my shorts and stuff, because I do that too. I also have a Discord at Daramouthe for DMing. I really don't have a server thing there. It's just that I hear the stories about the trouble you can have, so it's less worry. I also have a fan account, and I told that story earlier at Daramouthe on Twitter X. I also have an email. All of those links are down in the link tree below. Down below you in the description. Look, guys, you want to have the same chance. If you want to take that chance, right? If you want to take the chance that WhiteBear did, Vex Electronica, grateful as I am of her, I will have her on again. Vex Electronica, Phoenix Electra, Lumpy Potato, all these different people. Some are creators, some are not creators, some were big creators, some were small creators. It does not matter. It does not matter at all. Come to the table. Let's have a conversation about whatever comes away. You've already seen 2 hours and almost 20 minutes of just whatever, within reason, of course.
Yeah.
Stream to YouTube, but 98% of it has been whatever, and you've seen it. You've seen it. I think majority of the time people have to see it in order to understand what it's about. Because I can say free flowing conversation, and they're like, "Well, what is that?" I'm like, "Well, we can go anywhere. We can go to the sky, to the sea, wherever. It's anywhere." So anyway, but if you want to take that chance, if you want to take that opportunity, the links are down in the link tree, either on Twitter X, either on the email, or either in the comments of YouTube or Rumble. Does not matter. Get started there, and I can help take it the rest of the way. Just take a chance. That's all I ask. Now the second part is the fun part, but it's also the tragic part, is the engagement factor. Yes, a lot of the times when I was on YouTube, I heard all content creators say, share, like, and subscribe, because that was the easiest mantra to say, right? Like you hear it 1,000 times over and nothing changes. The reason why I ask for your help in the engagement is because it helps me be seen so that more people can become on. I do certain things that allow me to be connected to more people, to have them come on, but sometimes people don't give you a chance if you're not big enough, if you don't have the numbers or this or that or whatever, if you're not famous enough. Look, maybe one day my name will be big enough. I don't know. But your help means a lot. It means that I can go to one of these big creators and ask them on without having to, in confidence. And even if they turn me down, I'll say that wasn't a no. So I'll come back another time. There are so many people and so many opportunities and so many perspectives to have a conversation on. And you just saw one of them here. You saw one of them yesterday. You saw them last week and the week before. June is almost filled. 2 days left. And I'm looking forward to filling the rest of the year like that, other than holidays and family stuff, because there's
Right.
that. Because this Friday I won't be on. I'll be have a family thing. But next week, of course, in the 4th of July as well, 4th of July weekend, there won't be anything either because, again, family and stuff. But other than that, it's been a great time. And I hope you'll at least either like, comment, follow, share one of them, all of them. It does not matter. Whatever you do helps. And I appreciate it all. So there is something I'm going to try to do. I ordered the hat. It's a Rumble hat, but I've ordered the hat. I haven't gotten it yet. So it's just going to be a meeting. Taking a random one, but what I'm going to try to do is something called, it's going to be called Questions from the Hat. Now, what happened is I took it from a few different things. So there was a thing, there was a person named James Lipton who did a thing called the Actor Studio. And at the end of it, with the celebrities coming on, at the end of it, he would ask these actors a series of questions. And they'd be the same series of questions each actor would be asked. I'm not going to ask you, there's some I wrote down of that, but they're not all like that. Hold on. And of course there was a show called Whose Line Is It Anyway, and they had a bit called Scenes from a Hat. So I'm taking two different perspectives where I'm taking strips of questions that just about anyone can answer, right? Anyone can answer, and I'm going to put them in a hat, and then out of randomness, 2 questions will be picked out of the hat, and that will go towards you. If there are people in the chat who want to have more questions picked out, they can pay for a rant or whatever, and then more and more could come, and it'll be like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to buy random. I don't have a hat.
You literally have a hat right now.
No, well, this hat.
Yeah.
I don't have the hat yet. So this is just going to be off. It's just going to be off the notebook at random. And then when I get the hat, I will try to find more questions, ask people, and I'll probably ask you to suggest one, anyone can answer. But there's one I got one yesterday, and I want to start with is, what made you want to create content? That's the first one.
Because I have a big imagination and I like so many different subjects. So I have to get it out there into the world, or else I'll just end up doing something really stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go hog crazy, like, I can't hold out no more.
No, yeah, it'll be something, and I'll end up talking somebody's head off that I shouldn't probably talk to, and they'll be like, "Why are you telling me about chickens?" Yeah, they're coming for you.
It's a conspiracy.
It is. All right, what else we got?
Okay, so I'm trying to look over the ones that he that one of the question things he did. So one of the ones, I'll do this one. What is your favorite curse word?
Curse word. I like favorite or most used.
Wait, the question he asked is, what is your favorite curse word? Which is it's verbatim of what he's asked. So that's what I'm asking is, what did you favorite curse word? A ton of them.
I'm probably just gonna have to go with one that shouldn't even be considered a curse word, but it is.
Is it see you next Tuesday?
Bastard.
Oh, well, that's not good. That's not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad.
You had the movie Inglourious Bastards, so there's
yeah. I mean,
I can say it because it's a movie title. Take that, YouTube.
Right. It's in the Bible.
You Inglourious Bastards. See, it's from a movie. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I think I mean, I'm not much of a cursor myself because I don't point and click well. That's a dad joke. But why say a word when I can make up stuff like snicklefritz? I can say the word snicklefritz, and you're like, what the heck does that mean? It's like, tune in. This guy doesn't make any sense.
She touched me in my snicklefritz.
She's next time on Farmers in Love. I can't believe it. She touched me in my snicklefritz. I have never been touched there before.
We have creams for that. Snicklefritz creams.
But it's funny when you can make something up, because there was a short explanation. So a long time ago, there was a animation called Recess. You know, TJ, his crew, whatever.
Yes, yes.
In an episode, he had said a word, womp, right? WHOMP, womp. And he got in trouble with his teachers because they thought he was cursing, but he really wasn't, because it was just a word he made up that was sort of like his own curse word. And so why say the usual stuff when you can make something up and people give you a weird look? It's like, what did you say? It's like, exactly. And you just laugh, walk away. People think you're crazy, but at the end of the day, you've made something that's just like, I can say it. And you're like, should we censor that? I don't know if that's supposed to be. Why not have fun with words? Because we're already having people change them anyway, so why not?
Yeah. Trust me, I've worked with young people for a long time, and as the ages go, and you hear some new stuff every now and then, you're like, and it is so fun to make fun of too. Like one of the kids, he was, chopping onions back there and all that, and I heard him say, yeah, oh man, this stuff is fire. And I was like, really? I said, for real, no cap? And so me and my coworker, she goes, there's no cap. I said, zero fucking cap. There's no cap. We're just making fun of it. Yeah, but yeah, a lot of curse words become too common and they lose all their meaning. So when I grew up, my parents actually never cussed around us until and now that's different. Like up at work, because my mom was the manager of the place for 35 years. Wow. We called that kitchen talk. Like we just, but at home, my father, if he cussed, it was going to be like, earth shattering thing, As soon as we turned 18 though, we started letting them fly around there, and, but I never did cross my parents. I was one of those kids who actually didn't get in trouble because they didn't use stuff. They didn't make being bad parents or using, just filthy language all the time common. So, I say, if we had a bunch of words, that we used in place of it. Calling somebody a burger head, I could get away with that. And people are like, burger head. And I'm like, yeah, burger head. But they had nothing. They had no way to come back from that. Like, that's so stupid. Coming from a burger head, I expect. So I totally hear you on that.
It's like I was, when I had Panda Sub on, the guy yesterday, I was like, fart face. I was like, because we were just trying to see how, talking about the algorithm and stuff. Was like,
Mhm.
how many times can I say fart? But it was like, I can say fart face because everyone says, the other one, F face or whatever. I'm like,
Mhm.
fart face because it's funny. And it was like, because there was a show called the 70s Show, right, a long time ago. And in one of the episodes when they're sitting around their circle, their pot circle, whatever, Michael Kelso, right, the dumb guy, he
Mhm.
comes up and says the word pickle weasel.
Yeah.
he says pickle weasel. Can't stop laughing, and I was like, that's hilarious.
And it sticks with you.
Yeah, it sticks with you because it's like that itch in your mind you didn't know you had before, and then it just like pickle weasel, and it's like, oh man, it's too funny. But dude, oh my gosh, but this is things you wouldn't know if you didn't have a conversation with somebody.
Yeah.
And that's what this show is about. Darachat is what Darachat is about. And again, if you want to take up that chance, the links are down below. Go to one of them, leave a comment on either YouTube or Rumble. Take the opportunity to either better your talking skills or whatever. Make a benefit for yourself out of this, and let's have fun of it, because you just saw almost 2.5 hours of it, and it's been a blast. So thank you, WhiteBear. WhiteBear Whitney or Whitey.
WhiteBear, yeah. Please, Whitney. Use my pronoun.
WhiteBear Whitney. Thank you for coming on. And you are welcome back anytime, because it doesn't have to be a one-off, because there's always another time we can come back. It's like, oh, what's going on, and just have more conversation about whatever.
I got plenty of cock to share, so
yeah.
give me a holler. I'll bring him. I'll bring him on.
Hey, Cannoli, he says he has enough for you. Might want to take up on that. Yeah, but anyway, oh, that's right. Before we go, yeah, talk about the person coming in tomorrow. So tomorrow, because tomorrow's gonna be my last day to do for the week, because I'll be, gone from Friday on. Tomorrow at 7 p.m., same time this time. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, I will have on once again Happy Mars. Now, Happy Mars was on once before, long time ago. Well, last month I think. So he'll be on again tomorrow to end the week out, and then, I still waiting on some word from people, but at the end of the day, I'll fill it myself. I have to. So tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern. I hope to see you guys there. Thank you again, WhiteBear, for coming on, or Polo Bear McGee, or whatever you want to call. And I hope to see you all again tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern. And as always, we end out with Pogo. One day with you. Bye, Pogo. And don't forget to meet yourself. Don't forget that. Have a great night, guys.
Waka waka.
Bye.